Chapter 1541. More than 2 hours later, the exciting red carpet stage finally came to an end. The exciting awards ceremony had officially begun. The Golden Palm Awards were known as the Oscars of Chinese films. It was the highest honor for Chinese films. Anyone who paid attention knew that this award was a great affirmation of the film and the actor's abilities. Song Lin, Lung Manyun, Zhao Xizhou, Fang Xiaowen, Meng Shi, almost all the big names in the film industry had won an award here. To put it bluntly, the Golden Palm Awards signified prestige and status. The Golden Palms Award status was inseparable from its professionalism and impartiality. The judging process was strictly confidential, so all the nominated artists were extremely nervous. This included Ning Xiuhua. She had used all her power to get Chong Li to help her get a shortlist in advance. She had also gotten a few more unimportant nominations for The Mountain in order to create momentum. In the end, she had no idea what the final results were. However, she had been nominated for Best Actress for 2 movies based on her own ability. She had the highest hopes and the highest chance of winning. Tonight, she was the center of attention wherever she went. The cameras on the big screen kept cutting to her. Ning Xiuhua maintained a dignified and impeccable posture as she sat upright, a tranquil smile on her face. She glanced at Ning Shi from the corner of her eye and sneered inwardly. This is the Golden Palms Award ceremony. It's not a place where you can rely on your looks to please the crowd. In the end, you still have to rely on your strength. As long as she won this award, all the negative news from before would be washed away. And now, the matter with the Tang family had finally been resolved. She had sent people to investigate and found out that the Tang family had been asking for help everywhere. They had even naively tried to change their choice back. In the end, they had hit a wall everywhere and could only return home in vain. Everything was as she had expected. For a family like the Tang family, who had no power or influence, they could only suffer in silence. Why would the relevant departments and organizations waste so much effort on such a thankless task just for them? Later, Sun Lan had even called her to ask if she knew about Tang Nuo filling in the wrong choice and not getting into the Imperial Capital University. From the tone of her voice, she guessed that Sun Lan was trying to ask her for help in a roundabout way. She replied impatiently and hung up the phone. She absolutely could not be dragged down by such a family. Her surname was Ning, and she was the eldest daughter of the Ning family. She had nothing to do with the Tang family. Below the stage, all the stars had gathered. In the middle row were the film crews of The Mountain, The World, and Dream Seekers. On the stage, the beautiful host, He Jiaying, slowly walked over. Good night, distinguished guests and friends from all over the world. I'm your host, He Jiaying. Welcome to the 53rd Golden Palm Awards ceremony. After the passionate opening remarks, the audience burst into thunderous applause. After a short warm-up, it was time for the official award ceremony. Next, we will present the Best Visual Effects Award. As you all know, this award represents the 4th creation of a film and is one of the most important parts of a film. Now, please take a look at our nominees on the big screen. After the first few awards were over, the guest performers went on stage to sing. After a short period of relaxation, the awards ceremony entered a small climax. He Jiaying said excitedly, "The next award we will be presenting is Best Supporting Actress." Chapter 1542. The audience burst into thunderous applause. The camera switched to the 5 nominees one by one and then put them in the same frame on the big screen, showing their expressions. Ning Shi was in the middle. The girl applauded with the audience, looking nervous. Of course, so did the others. Ning Xiuhua sat calmly on the chair, looking at Ning Shi's nervous face on the big screen. Her heart was full of mockery and disdain. She was just the best supporting actress. Why was she so nervous? On the big screen, clips of each nominated film were shown, and the speaker introduced them. Wu Yan's I Have a Secret, Lu Jingjing's The Tenant, Qin Kalin's Cafe No. 8, Ning Shi's The World. The last one was about Ning Shi's role as Meng Chang'e in The World. The organizer cut the most classic scene in the film. Ning Shi held Sun Huanqing, who was shot to death by thousands of arrows, and looked at the Chong, an imperial palace in the void. A blood-red flower bloomed at the corner of her mouth, and with one look, She changed from a general to a demon concubine. Just through the screen, everyone could feel the great shock. Ningxi's performance was very impactful. Outsiders and those who hated Ning, she liked to criticize her appearance. But most of the people present were professionals, and they were full of admiration for this new girl's acting skills. They were afraid that there would be another miracle in the entertainment circle in the future. Dear friends, now, I'm going to reveal the winner of the Best Supporting Actress of the 53rd Golden Palm Awards. With the host's voice, the camera quickly switched to the 5 nominees and finally stopped in the same frame. Because the 5 cameras on the stage were together, Jiang Mai, who was next to Ning Shi, was not captured. That guy looked down at Ning, Shi's tightly clenched fingers, curled his lips, and said, "Why are you so nervous?" Ning Shi wanted to glare at him, but at the moment, the camera was facing her, so she had to maintain her image. The winner of the Best Supporting Actress of the 53rd Golden Palm Awards is Ning Shi. As soon as the host's voice fell, everyone looked at Ning Shi and applauded. "I told you not to be nervous. Can't you be more ambitious? You're going to win all the awards in the future." Jiang Mai snorted. The next second, Ning Shi hugged him tightly. Before Jiang Mai could react, Ning Shi had already let go of him and hugged with Qixing and the staff on the other side. Ning Shi was nominated for the Best Supporting Actress in the world. She played Meng Chang'e in The World and showed her excellent acting skills. Following the explanation, Ning Shi accepted the congratulations from her friends around her. She calmed herself down and walked towards the stage. Looking at the girl on the stage, Jiang Mai felt empty in his arms, but he was quite satisfied in his heart. Humph! That was his CP in the drama. He was also proud of it. The host retreated and left the stage to Ning Shi. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao was sitting in the first row. He was so far away from Ning Shi that they could barely see each other. However, when Ning Shi stood on the stage, she was very close to him. The man kept clapping, his gaze on her from beginning to end. His eyes were filled with pride. Even though she was just a supporting actress, it was as if she had done something amazing. Chapter 1543. Ning Shi took a deep breath, stood in front of the microphone, and began to give her acceptance speech. The World is the first movie I acted in, and it has a very special meaning for me. Here, I would like to thank the Golden Palm Film Awards, the judges for their recognition of me, and my director, Mr. Wu Qixing, for giving me the opportunity to play this role, and my partner, Jiang Mai. There were very few people Ning Shi could thank in this movie. She was framed by Ning Shi, terminated by the company, and isolated and helpless. It could be said that this was the most difficult time for her. Jiang Mai was so happy when he heard his name. This girl still had some conscience. After all, he broke the rule that he would not act in a movie unless he was the male lead and made a huge sacrifice to play Sun Huanqing. Although he was almost hunted down by this girl because of the scandal at that time. Finally, this movie is most grateful to Ning Shi paused and looked at the center of the first row of the stage. My boss, Mr. Lu. It can be said that without him, I would not be where I am today. Thank him for the trust he gave me. The camera immediately pointed in Lu Jingli's direction. After all, everyone knew that Ning Shi was poached by Lu Jingli from Starlight Entertainment. At that time, there was an uproar. Only Lu Jingli, who had a kind smile on his face, knew that the Mr. Lu that little Cece was thanking so affectionately was actually her brother. Acting is my dream, and it is also to be worthy of all the people who support me, trust me, and love me. A gentleman will die for his bosom friends. Ning Shi ended her acceptance speech with this sentence. There was a thunderous applause, and this speech won a lot of people's favor. They could not tell that this girl was not only good at acting, but also had a high EQ. Under the stage, Ning Shi maintained a smile and applauded with the crowd, watching Ning Shi, who was in the limelight. Damn it, she did not expect that she would really win the Best Supporting Actress award. After winning the Golden Palm Film Award for Best Supporting Actress, no matter how bad she was in the future, she would still be able to get roles. Most importantly, this prestigious award was a very powerful counterattack for a female star like Ning Shi, who had always been called a vase. Ning Xuela took a deep breath and calmed down. She was just a Best Supporting Female Character. That's right, she deserved to be a supporting female character. A supporting female character for a lifetime would forever be her supporting character. Only she would always be the main character. The awards ceremony continued. Following that, the world won another Best Action Design award. Other awards were also announced one after another. The Mountain, which was nominated for the most awards, won the Best Original Screenplay award. The reaction from the audience was very enthusiastic. Everyone clearly felt that this award was well-deserved. With such a good script, it was very possible for it to compete with the 4 major international film festivals. Obviously, Chi Fong came with this ambition. As for Dream Seeker, it was a small production after all, and the script was not original. They did not have the money to hire top-notch production staff. So naturally, they did not have the chance to win awards like Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, Best Art Design, and so on. Therefore, they only received 2 nominations, Best Director and Best Actress. The Best Actor award was won by a veteran actor who had been nominated 6 times. Then it was finally time for the penultimate award, which was also one of the most important awards, the Best Director award. Chapter 1544. This time, there were a total of 5 films, including The Mountain, The World, and Dream Seeker. The other 2 were sci-fi films and action films. Chi Fong, Guo Qixing, Shin Mian, Xie Yilei, and Xiao Yinji appeared on the big screen. Not only these directors, but the other leading actors were also very nervous. After all, they were bound together for good or bad. Ning Xiulo took a deep breath to ease her worry. Whether it was Guo Qixing or Chi Fong, she could do it, but definitely not Shin Mian. Jiang Mai was on Ning Xi's left, Guo Qixing was on her second left, and Shin Mian was on her right. Opposite Shin Mian in the front row was Chi Fong. Chi Fong had won the most awards. He had been nominated for the 4 major A-list film festivals many times and won the Golden Feather Award at the Lorraine Film Festival, which was one of the 4 major film festivals. He had won the Golden Feather Award twice and had made countless movie stars popular. This time, Ning Xiulo was acting in his film for free and had to comply with all his requests. Having seen too many such scenes, Chi Fong was naturally the calmest, and Guo Qixing was still smiling with a good temper. He had always taken the business route, and being able to be nominated this time was already a good harvest. As for Shin Mian's attitude, Shin Mian had talked to her before. It was unlikely that he would win this time. Although his nomination was enough to prove that there were many people who admired him, most of the judges for the Golden Palm Award were academics who liked literary films. The theme of their film was not to the taste of the judges. This time, the guest presenter was a famous foreign director. He said in not very fluent Chinese, "Next, let me reveal the winner of this Best Director award." Everyone held their breath and waited for the result. The reason why this award was so important was that the Best Director award was the wind vane of the Best Actress. In many cases, the same film won the Best Actress and Best Director award at the same time. The winner of this Best Director award is Guo Qixing. Guo Qixing was very popular in the circle. There was a warm applause, and everyone congratulated Guo Qixing. When Guo Qixing heard his name, he seemed to be stunned for a moment. Then he stood up and thanked the people around him. This time, Guo Qixing winning the award was unexpected but reasonable. After all, the timing, location, and people were all in the right place. The script was good, the funds were sufficient, and the actors' acting skills were up to par. Ning Xiulo's excitement was beyond words. She immediately got up and wanted to hug Guo Qixing. However, Guo Qixing turned to Ning Xi first and hugged her. Ning Xiulo's expression immediately turned ugly. He was not the first to hug her, the female lead. What did he mean by celebrating with Ning Xi, the female supporting character? Fortunately, Ning Xi was sitting closest to Guo Qixing, so it was reasonable for Guo Qixing to hug Ning Xi first. After that, Guo Qixing hugged Ning Xiulo, Zhao Xizhou, and the rest of the main cast and crew. Shin Mian also congratulated Guo Qixing with a smile. Chi Fong, on the other hand, had no expression on his face on the stage. Guo Qixing thanked everyone in his acceptance speech. Just as he was about to step off the stage, the host deliberately asked to liven up the atmosphere. "Director Guo, can you predict for us who will win the Best Actress award this time?" It's worth mentioning that Xue Luo has 2 films nominated this time. Do you think The World or The Mountain has a higher chance of winning? Chapter 1545. This question was too difficult to answer, but the host liked to ask it every time. This time, because of the special situation, the question was especially tricky. Was his the world more likely, or Qi Feng's the mountain? How was he supposed to answer? Guo Qixing could only smile and dodge the question. He did not elaborate and change the topic. After the Best Director Award, there was only one award left, the Best Actress Award, which was the most anticipated winner of the Best Actress Award. It was obvious that everyone, who was a little tired from the long and tedious award ceremony, was suddenly energized. Thank you, presenter, and congratulations to the winner. The next presenters are Jiang Xingzhou and Song Lin. Just hearing the names of the two presenters was enough to make people's blood boil. One was a highly respected international director, and the other was the Grand Slam record holder, Song Lin. Jiang Xingzhou. Good evening. Jiang Xingzhou was dressed in a black suit and had a scholarly appearance. He looked very friendly and kind, but everyone who knew him and had worked with him before knew that he would be a completely different person when he was filming. He was so strict that artists who worked with him went straight to see a psychiatrist. There were quite a few people like him, but there were still many artists who wanted to work with him because almost all of his films won awards. Of course, he was very strict in his selection, and many people could not pass the first test. Song Lin. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to present this award. Song Lin was dressed in a white evening gown. She was beautiful and elegant. At the age of 35, she had already won the Golden Palm Award, the Golden Luan Award, and the Golden Deer Award, the three highest Best Actress trophies in the Chinese film industry. She had also won a total of 12 trophies in various major Asian film awards. She was the youngest winner of the Grand Slam Best Actress Award in the mainland. She had also been nominated for the Best Actress Award at the Golden Globe Awards, which was known as the wind vane of the Oscars. She was one of the major representatives of the Chinese film industry. After a simple greeting and a few words of greeting, the big screen began to play the trailer. Su Jiaojiao Canoe. Luo Qi, Alice's Mirror. Ning Shueb, The World. The World chose the scene of Shangguaning Rong, played by Ning Shui, smiling at the male lead under the pear tree. Next was Ning Shi's Dream Seeker. When the opening scene of Dream Seeker appeared on the big screen, which was the scene where a man dressed in men's clothes tilted his head and whispered to Shin Hanshin with a faint smile, there was a lot of exclamations from the seats. Regardless of any other factors, this was a purely physiological reaction that they had as an audience. Finally, it was time for the last nominated work. Ning Shuo's name appeared on the big screen again. Ning Shuo, a mountain. The trailer for The Mountain was in stark contrast to the extravagant and seductive style of Dream Seeker. The background was a rustic and desolate lush slope and a low mud house. Ning Shuo was dressed like a peasant woman and spoke in an obscure dialect. It was almost impossible to recognize her. It was obvious that Ning Shuo had really put in a lot of effort to win the award. If it was in the past, Ning Shuo would never have been willing to play such a role. After the movie ended, the audience applauded enthusiastically. Ning Shuo smiled humbly at the camera that was pointed at her. Chapter 1546. Next to Guo Qixing, someone in the industry could not help but mutter. Recently, the development of Taizhou's film industry is becoming more and more abnormal. After so many choices, they only chose Luo Qi. She's obviously a tag-along. Su Jiaojiao's movie is quite interesting. Even though Ning Shuo performed exceedingly well, with Ning Shi's Meng Chang'e there, it doesn't seem to be enough. Just by looking at Dream Seeker and The Mountain, Ning Shuo really worked hard this time. She didn't even hesitate to ruin her image. Moreover, The Mountain is obviously more to the taste of the judges, right? Old Guo, what do you think? Guo Qixing chuckled. It doesn't matter what I think. The key is what the judges think. The person next to him was unhappy. Hey, it's fine if you laugh at the host, but you're not going to tell me the truth? Guo Qixing had a helpless look on his face. Then he could only say, this award is for Best Actress. Huh? What do you mean? Before the person next to him could figure out what Guo Qixing meant on the stage, the two presenters were ready to announce the final winner list. After Jiang Xingzhou and Song Lin humbly exchanged some pleasantries, Song Lin finally handed the envelope to Jiang Xingzhou for him to announce the name. Thus, Jiang Xingzhou opened the envelope and slowly said into the microphone, "Then, let me announce the name," accompanied by the rapid drumming. The hearts of everyone in the audience rose to their throats. The camera swept over the guests one by one. Guo Qixing, Qi Feng, Xin Mian, Su Yin, Lu Jingli, Lu Tingxiao. Finally, the big screen froze the faces of the four nominees. Everyone held their breath as they waited for the final result. Apart from the nominees and the seated guests, there was also the audience watching the live broadcast in front of their televisions. Gong Shangze, Qiao Weilon, Han Momo, the Zhuang family, Ning Tianxin, Annie, Tengno were all waiting in front of their televisions. The 53rd Golden Palm Awards Best Actresses, Ning. The moment they heard the word Ning, Luo Qi and Su Jiaojia's faces visibly darkened on the big screen. In contrast, Ning Shua's eyes suddenly lit up. Her manager and some staff beside her couldn't hide their emotions either. Some even stood up slightly to hug and congratulate her. Ning Shi. In the next second, Jiang Xingzhou's voice resounded throughout the entire hall. Everyone's ears were filled with that name. Ning Shi. After a second of silence, the crew of Dreamseeker let out an excited exclamation. Ji Yuming jumped over from behind and pounced on Ning Shi. "Brother Shi, congratulations." Ning Shi came back to her senses and hugged the people who came to congratulate her. At the same time, thunderous applause rang out. Ning Shi, with the roles of Ji Feishue and Ji Feibai in Dreamseeker and the gender reversal, you have shown us your superb acting skills and rich inner thoughts. Let's welcome this year's movie queen to the stage. The host said excitedly. It was unknown if the cameraman had done it on purpose, but the camera suddenly flashed past and landed on Ning Xiuelua. Ning Xiu almost did not have time to retract her ugly expression. When she saw her face on the big screen, she immediately clapped her hands and put on a generous gesture of blessing. However, her expression looked a little forced no matter how one looked at it. Chapter 1547. As for the director of The Mountain, Qi Feng, when he saw the result, he had a look of "I knew it" on his face. In the end, the Best Actress award depended on the female lead's acting skills. No matter how good the script of The Mountain was and how much the judges liked the theme, it couldn't change the fact that Ning Xiuelua's acting skills couldn't move the judges. The Best Screenplay award that they won was the biggest insult to them. They had let such a good script down. As time went on, the market for literary films became more and more bleak. Even directors like them couldn't keep their integrity and went to hire popular actresses to boost the box office. There were plenty of people who made cliché IP dramas. Qi Feng was no exception. Although he insisted on making a good script, he knew that Ning Xiuelua's acting skills couldn't carry the show. In the end, he gave in to her background and popularity. Not only did she put in a lot of money, but she also acted for free. It was too hard to reject such conditions. Xin Mian, on the other hand, was able to go against the current and use a newcomer to produce a movie like Dreamseeker. Just from this point alone, he admired her courage. Of course, he was more envious. He was envious that he met an actress like Ning Shi. It could be said that without Ning Shi, the Dream Seekers wouldn't have existed. Even if it did, it would definitely be lost in the crowd. At the end of the day, actors were the soul of a movie. On stage, Ning Shi walked up to the podium for the second time that night. She bent down to take the Golden Palm Award trophy from Song Lin's hands. Then, she stood in front of the microphone and became the focus of everyone at the venue and in front of the TV. Ning Shi was still in a daze when she received the trophy and stood on this stage. 5 years ago, she was in a dark place where she couldn't see a trace of light. Now, she was finally standing on this stage and receiving the Best Actress award. What's more, it was her longtime goal, Song Lin, who personally presented the award to her. She finally crawled out of hell and gained a new life. All of this was like a dream, floating on soft clouds, but it didn't feel real. Ning Shi stood there quietly and didn't say a word. No one in the audience rushed her. They all quietly looked at the girl on the stage. Compared to her dazzling aura when she walked the red carpet, the girl at this moment was completely calm. Her silence was so beautiful that no one could bear to disturb her. An old house in the imperial capital. The white-haired man sat in front of the huge screen, tilting his head as he looked at the girl standing on the podium. She left for something like this? Tang Ye's voice came from the side. Everyone has something that they hold on to and yearn for. Perhaps these things are worthless in the eyes of others, but to them, they mean life. The man frowned slightly, his gaze still fixed on the girl. He really didn't understand before, but when he saw the girl's expression the moment she received the trophy, it seemed like he suddenly understood. On the podium. After a short moment of silence, the girl raised her slightly moist eyes and slowly said, "I'm very excited and honored to receive this award. What's more, I'm happy that my idol gave me this award." At this point, a small burst of laughter came from below the stage. Songlin also had a smile on her face. The girl's attitude was excited and sincere. It did not make people feel that she was trying to curry favor. Instead, people were infected by her frankness. Chapter 1548. To be able to win this award, I want to thank even more people. I want to thank the crew, the director, my manager, and all the fans who supported me. I want to thank those who helped me when I was at my most desperate and darkest, when I wanted to give up everything. If Mengchanga is the start of my dream, then Ji Feibai is the first stop I've successfully reached. I still have a long way to go in the future. I won't forget my original intention. I will continue to walk down this path with all my heart. At this point, Ningxi paused. Her burning gaze landed somewhere below the stage before she continued. For my final dream, and for the person I love the most. As soon as she finished speaking, the audience burst into thunderous applause. With the song Stubborn, the Palm D or award ceremony officially ended. When I'm different from the world, then let me be different. I am my own God. Where I live, me and my proud stubbornness, I sing loudly in the wind. This time, I'm crazy for myself. Yes, those who love me, don't be nervous, my stubbornness is kind. You don't care about my past, you see my wings. You say that only after being burned by fire can a phoenix appear. The direction against the wind is more suitable for flying. At this moment, the entrance of the awards ceremony was surrounded by reporters. As soon as someone came out, they were immediately surrounded. Director Feng, this time, The Mountain received 8 nominations, but in the end, it only won the Best Screenplay Award. Do you have anything to say about this? Director Feng, do you feel sorry for missing out on the Best Director Award? Chi Feng walked forward without saying a word, as if he had no intention of answering the reporters' questions. Of course, the reporters wouldn't let him go. Director Feng, do you have any thoughts on the winner of the Best Actress Award? Director Feng, don't go. Director Feng, say a few words. Surrounded by a group of people, Chi Feng suddenly stopped in his tracks and looked at the reporters quietly. Then he opened his mouth and said, "She deserves it." All the reporters were stunned for a moment. Then, they suddenly reacted and the scene was in an uproar. Chi Feng actually said that Ningxi deserves it? Obviously, they didn't expect Ningxi to receive such a high evaluation from the opposing director. At the same time, everyone sighed at Director Feng's demeanor. He could still say such words under such circumstances. As soon as Ningxi walked out, she heard Chi Feng say those words. Her face turned green. Before she could recover, the reporters surrounded her like hungry wolves when they saw her. Soon, she was surrounded tightly. Of course, it wasn't because she was in the limelight tonight, but because it was too embarrassing. This time, Ningxi was the favorite to win the award, but in the end, she got nothing, which really surprised everyone. She was totally humiliated. Just now, even her own director affirmed that Ningxi's acting skills were better than hers. The Mountain was nominated for 8 awards, but it only won 1 Best Screenplay Award. What did that mean? Under the Heavens was nominated for 4 awards, winning Best Action Film, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actress. The only award it didn't win was Best Actress. What did it mean? Even a blind person who didn't know anything would be able to tell. Shui Luo, this time, you had the highest chance of winning the award, but in the end, you lost. Just now, Director Feng said that Ningxi deserved it. Can you tell us your thoughts? The Mountain only won one Best Screenplay award. Does that mean that you didn't perform the essence of this movie? As everyone knows, you acted in this movie to change your career. Now that you've failed, what are your plans for the future? Chapter 1549. The reporter's questions became more and more heated. In the end, someone even asked her, how does it feel to be defeated by the former junior sister of the same company? Even Ning Shuiluo's agent, Chong Li, was not spared. She was asked a lot of questions that almost made her want to die. After all, Ning Shi, the movie queen, was driven away by her. Miss Chong, when you and your company terminated the contract with Ning Shi, have you ever thought that Ning Shi would have such potential? Miss Chong, have you ever regretted your decision? Excuse me, please make way. Thank you for your concern for our Shuiluo. I'll arrange a group interview to answer your questions later. Chong Li and Su Yin tried to protect Ning Shuiluo as they tried to break through the crowd. Mr. Su, what do you want to say about Miss Ning losing the Golden Brown movie queen? The reporters began to contradict Su Yin again. Under the pushing and shoving of the reporters, Su Yin frowned and said, Shuiluo will always be the best actress in my mind. Hearing Su Yin's words, Ning Shuiluo's face became a little better. Just then, there was a burst of exclamations and screams from the crowd. It was Ning Shi, the movie queen tonight. As soon as Ning Shi appeared, the reporters who had surrounded Ning Shuiluo just now all left. Even Su Yin couldn't help looking at her. Ning Shi, congratulations on winning the Best Supporting Actress and Movie Queen. You won 2 trophies. As the biggest winner tonight, can you tell us how you feel at the moment? In such a short time, she has surpassed her predecessors who have been in the industry for many years. Movie Queen Ning is indeed born for the entertainment circle. I wonder what Movie Queen Ning will do next. I heard that director Zhang Xingzhou has offered you an olive branch. Is it true? Movie Queen Ning. Movie Queen Ning. Movie Queen Ning was supposed to be her, but now it had become Ning Shi. It was Ning Shi. Why was it Ning Shi? She had prepared for so long and even made such a big sacrifice to play that dirty and lowly role. 2 movies were nominated at the same time, but Ning Shi won the movie queen. How could she survive in the entertainment circle in the future? Since ancient times, people had always been trampling on the high and flattering the low. At this moment, people kept whispering, haha, Ning Shula said that actors should speak with their strength. TSK. What he said was right. As an actor, he should speak with his ability. She shouldn't have anything to say now, right? Her looks and acting skills are not as good as Ning Shi's. I don't know where she gets her sense of superiority. Even men say, with Ning Shi's qualifications, it shouldn't be difficult for her to find a man richer and more powerful than Su Yin, right? Ning Shuo felt as if there was a fire burning in her body when she heard those unpleasant words. Shut up, shut up, shut up. She was the distinguished Miss Ning of the Ning family. While Ning, she was just a lowly bumpkin. How could she compare with her? At the thought that she would be inferior to Ning Shi in the entertainment industry in the future and be labeled as the one who lost to Ning Shi, the jealousy and hatred surged up and almost swallowed her. No, she would never allow it. That countryside pheasant, that lowly adopted daughter, what right did she have? What right did he have to ride on her head? Due to her extreme anger, Ning Shua's entire body was trembling. When Su Yin went to drive the car, she immediately gave Chong Li a sinister look, hinting for her to take action. Chapter 1550. Chong Li immediately understood what Ning Shuiluo meant. She asked hesitantly, "Do you really want to do this?" Chong Li had known that Ning Shi came from a humble family and was an adopted daughter of the Ning family. But now that she was about to expose this matter, she somehow felt a little uneasy. Didn't Chairman Ning say that Ning Shi's relationship with the Ning family can't be disclosed to others? Chong Li hesitated. "It's not your turn to interfere in my affairs. Just do what I tell you to do. Get out of here and do it." Ning Shua was on the verge of losing her temper. How could she listen to anything else? She didn't want to see Ning Shi strutting around in front of her. She didn't want to see her being despised and laughed at by everyone. Anyway, because of Ning Xiutong, the bitch, the Ning family had two daughters, one biological and one adopted, which had been made public. At that time, in order to clarify, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu were forced to stand up and make a public statement, claiming that Zhuang Lingyu was the eldest daughter of the Ning family, and explaining that the other was just an orphan adopted from the countryside by the Ning family. At that time, many media wanted to find out who the adopted daughter was, but they were all suppressed by Ning Yaohua. However, since there was already a crack in the matter, it was only a matter of time before it was exposed. The media might even continue to dig further, therefore, she might as well seize the opportunity and expose this matter by herself today. If this adopted daughter was someone else, it wouldn't be a big deal. But what if it was Ning Shi? What if it was Ning Shi, who was also in the entertainment circle and was on the opposite side of her? What would the media and the public think? They would think that Ning Shi was just an orphan from the countryside who was adopted by the Ning family out of kindness. She didn't know how to be grateful and even try to substitute herself as the daughter of the Ning family. Most importantly, once the identity of Ning Shi's adopted daughter was confirmed, Ning Shi would forever owe the Ning family for raising her, which meant that she owed Ning Xiuhua. Ning Shi would even be like a servant in front of Ning Xiuhua. Ning Shi would always be inferior to Ning Xiuhua. All the conflicts between them could be attributed to jealousy and ingratitude. She believed that Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, and everyone else, including the Su family, would stand on her side and prove that she was the real daughter of the Ning family. Today, she would take advantage of this opportunity to completely eliminate her worries and become the miss of the Ning family forever. She would replace Ning Shi's position so that no one would question this in the future. Seeing that Ning Xiuhua was very determined, Changli had no choice but to find an empty corner and secretly make a few calls to the reporters that she had arranged earlier. They had originally thought that Ning Xiuhua would definitely win the award this time, but in the end, it was not 100%. The Golden Palm Award was indeed hard to predict, so in order to prevent the kind of accident that they didn't want to see the most, which was Ning Shi winning the award, Ning Xiuhua had even prepared this plan. Changli thought about it and felt that exposing this matter was indeed beneficial to Ning Xiuhua, and it could turn the situation around to a large extent. Therefore, she gradually felt at ease and watched the development of the situation in the dark. At this moment, a tall reporter suddenly rushed to Ning Shi and asked loudly, "Movie Queen Ning, you and Ning Shu both have the same surname. Are you related by blood? Is it true that you're the adopted daughter of the Ning family?" Chapter 1551. What? Ning Shi was the adopted daughter of the Ning family? In an instant, it stirred up 1,000 ripples. However, the more shocking thing was yet to come. The reporter continued, "You used to be a humble and vulgar orphan girl from the countryside. The Ning family felt sorry for you, so they took you in and sent you abroad to study. However, the first thing you did after returning to China was to enter the entertainment circle. You always went against Ning Xiuhua and stole her limelight. You even colluded with your clansmen to create a drama in which you tried to take over the Ning family's property. You are so ungrateful and despicable. You don't deserve to be a human. Silence, deathly silence." No one had expected that Ning Shi would cause such a big scandal when she won the Best Actress award. If so, Ning Shi's inspirational image would become that of a villain intoxicated by success. Many of the reporters present recalled the statement that the Ning family had made some time ago. As for the adopted daughter of one of the parties involved, they couldn't find out who she was. They never expected that the person was Ning Shi. "Miss Ning, is what he said true? Are you really the adopted daughter of the Ning family? It is said that you cheated 10% of the shares from Mr. Ning. Is that true? You keep saying that you are grateful to those who helped you when you were in the most difficult time. Is this how you repay them?" Facing the harsh and contemptuous rebuke, Ning Shi's expression was extremely calm. She looked over the layers of reporters and quietly looked at Ning Xiuhua, who was not far away. Ning Xiuhua looked at her with a smile and mouthed, "I told you that all of this is mine." Ning Xiuhua dared to confuse right and wrong because she knew that everyone would be on her side. She knew that even if everything was a lie, she could not defend herself. At this time, Suyin came back. Seeing the scene in front of him, his face suddenly changed. What's going on? How did these reporters know about that? Ning Shuo shook her head anxiously. I don't know. It seems that the reporters found out the relationship between my sister and the Ning family. Last time, what Aunt Xiao Tong and my sister said at the party had a great impact on me, so my parents had to make a public statement. At that time, the reporters were already investigating. Even if my parents had been blocking the news, it would be exposed sooner or later. It's just that I didn't expect that it would be revealed at this time. Elder brother Yin, what do we do now? Ning Shuo cried as she spoke. She grabbed Su Yan's sleeve and said sadly, Brother Yin, I can't watch my sister get misunderstood like this. Why don't I tell the truth to the reporters? They said that I was the adopted daughter and that Ningxi was the biological daughter of my parents. Su Yan's expression was extremely ugly as he blurted out, No. When Ning Shui Luo heard this, a smug look flashed across the corner of her eyes. She knew that Su Yin would be on her side. She was his wife now, and they were bound together for good or bad. If she lost face, he and the entire Su family would lose face. He knew very well who he should protect. At the same time, Lin Jiji frowned. While protecting Ning Shi, she revealed a hesitant expression. They really came prepared. You sure she can do it alone? Should we get someone to help her? Ning Shi looked away from Ning Luoxue and Su Yin and said lightly, No need. Just let her in. Okay, Lin Jiji answered immediately. Chapter 1552. Due to the sudden commotion, Ning Shuo, who was one of the parties involved, was soon surrounded by reporters. Shuo, is Ningxi really the adopted daughter of the Ning family? Miss Ning, Ningxi has done so many terrible things to you. Why do you have to protect such a despicable and ungrateful person? Facing the reporters' questions, Ning Shuo's face was full of grievances. No, it's not what you think. I believe there must be some misunderstanding. I really don't know why my sister did this. She seemed to be exonerating Ning Shi, but in fact, she confirmed what the reporters said. Sure enough, as soon as Ning Shuo's voice fell, the crowd was in an uproar. Ning Shuo did not deny it. She was really the adopted daughter of the Ning family. Ning Shi really did those filthy things. Oh my God! They thought she was an inspirational goddess, but she turned out to be a despicable person. And the pure and kind Ning Shuo had endured it until now. While the crowd was excited, there was a sudden stench. Everyone could not help but cover their noses. At this moment, someone forcefully and rudely squeezed through the group of reporters. Because the person was carrying something that smelled too bad, everyone moved away, allowing her to squeeze all the way to Ning Shui Luo. Damn, what is that? It stinks. Stop pushing. Stop pushing. Who is it? Who is this person? Where did she come from? While everyone was complaining, they saw an old lady carrying a big black bucket all the way to Ning Shuo. In the next second, the old lady poured all the filth in the bucket onto Ning Shuo. In an instant, the scene was filled with a pungent stench, and everyone almost fainted from the ugliness. Ning Shuo was stunned for a second, and then she let out an earth-shattering scream. When everyone realized what was going on, they were also shocked. They did not expect an old lady to suddenly appear and pour feces on Ning Shuo. Before the crowd could figure out what was going on, the old lady screamed even louder than Ning Shuo's scream. Io, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. Our whole family is going to be driven to death by this little bitch. This was big news. Everyone's first reaction was to raise their cameras instead of helping Ning Shi. However, they could not be blamed. Even Chong Li and Su Yin were dumbfounded. They did not dare to touch Ning Shuo, who was covered in filth. Only Ning Shuo was jumping around like a madwoman. Someone, guards! His helpless voice was completely drowned out by the old lady. Don't be fooled by this little bitch. She's not some rich missy at all. She's just a lowly girl from the mountains. She's my old lady's granddaughter. She was mistakenly switched at the hospital, and that's how she ended up in a rich man's house. After marrying into a rich family, she forgot her roots. Not only did she ignore us, but she was also afraid that we would expose her identity and force our family to die. Our family was forced into a corner by the hooligans. My grandson begged her in God, but she ordered the servants to chase my good grandson and her own brother away, like they were beggars. She was afraid that people would find out that she was a little bitch, so she changed her brother's choice and didn't let him come to the capital to study at the university. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Ning Shua's face was full of fear, and she rushed over like a madwoman. Before Ning Shua could get close, the old lady fell to the ground with a thud. Ouch! Murder! Murder! Help! Chapter 1553. Ning Shua had never met such a shameless person. She stepped back in fear. No, I didn't touch her at all. The old lady, who had been alive and kicking just a moment ago, was lying on the ground, dying. She cried, "She wants to kill our family, so that no one will know about her dirty deeds." What kind of sin did our Tang family commit to produce such a vicious woman? Ning Shua was so angry that she almost fainted. No, it's not like that. Don't believe her. I don't know what she's talking about, and I don't know her at all. You've changed from a pheasant to a phoenix. You've never come back, so naturally you don't recognize this old woman. However, even if this old woman hasn't seen you once, I still recognize you. You are a member of our Tang family. A glint flashed through the old lady's eyes, and her tone was extremely firm. Chongli finally came back to her senses. She pinched her nose and rushed over, shouting, "Security! Where are the security guards? What the hell is wrong with you? How could you let such a person in?" Chongli said and stared at Ning Shi. Ning Shi, don't go too far. Do you think you can confuse right and wrong by sending an old lady with an unknown background? You still don't know how to repent. You're so shameless. Chongli had always thought that Ning Shula was the eldest daughter of the Ning family, and Ning Shi was an adopted daughter, so she thought that Ning Shi must have done it on purpose. When everyone heard this, they all looked in Ning Shi's direction with a sudden realization. Yes, how could it be so coincidental? As soon as the news that Ning Shi is an adopted daughter was exposed, an old lady from the countryside who claimed to be Ning Shua's biological grandmother appeared and said that Ning Shua was switched at birth. Maybe Ning Shi did it on purpose. I think it's possible. Seeing that the situation was getting better, Ning Shua was overjoyed, and then she looked a bit crazy. Huh? Ning Shi, you're so naive. You think you can kill me with the help of the Tang family. However, before Ning Shula could show her complacency, her face turned pale the next second. Mom, what are you doing? Why are you here? Mom, get up, get up. It was Sun Lan. Everyone only saw a middle-aged woman with a sallow complexion rushing over, calling the unreasonable old lady Mom while anxiously trying to help her up. What shocked everyone at the scene was that other than her slightly bad skin, the middle-aged woman's facial features were exactly the same as Ning Shua's. When the old lady saw Sun Lan, she immediately slapped her. I'm not coming. Why can't I come? If I didn't come, Xiao Nua's future and our whole family would be ruined by you. Do you think you can sit back and relax after helping Xiao Nua this time? When Xiao Nua comes to the imperial capital, to this little bitch's territory, who knows how she will harm Xiao Nua, you idiot. Fine, you don't care. All of you don't care. Then I will take care of it. I absolutely cannot watch our Tang family be destroyed in the hands of this little slut. The reporters at the scene looked at each other, dumbfounded. Well, what's going on? Don't you think this woman looks like Ning Shuelua? What do you mean similar? They're practically carved from the same mold. Damn, is this woman really Ning Shuelua's biological mother? Ning Shua looked at Sun Lan's face and listened to the discussions around her. She shook her head in panic and stepped back step by step, as if she had seen something extremely terrifying. No, she's not. She's not my mother. No, I'm the eldest daughter of the Ning family. I'm Zhuang Lingyu's daughter. She thought that she was in control of everything, but she forgot that bloodline was something that could never be erased. Even a paternity test could be faked. Then, what about this face? Her face, which was exactly the same as Sun Lan's, completely exposed all of her lies to the sun. Chapter 1554. Not only were the reporters and other artists stunned, but even Chong Li was stunned. She stared blankly at the countrywoman, speechless. What? What was going on? Oh my God! Was it real or fake? Ning Xulua is not a rich girl at all. How could her biological mother and grandmother be such people? Then why have the Ning family been insisting that Ning Xulua is her biological daughter for so many years? Things are getting more and more confusing. After a short period of confusion, the reporters all rushed to Ning Shi's direction. Miss Ning. Miss Ning. What happened? Can you explain it to us? Ning Shi, do you know these two people? Ning Shi. What's your relationship with them? The old lady pushed Sun Lan away and rushed to Ning Shi. Without saying a word, she began to cry. Ning Shi. Ning Shi. They don't believe my words. Tell them that this girl is a bitch. I didn't say a word of lies. If I lied, I would be struck to death by a bolt of lightning from God. I know that in the past 18 years when you were in our Tang family, I often beat you and scolded you because you were a girl. Just think of it as Xiao Nu. Xiao Nu has always treated you as her own sister. Although that child hid it from me, how could I not know that he secretly saved meat and hid delicious food for you, his sister? Gu Shijiu thought. Do you still remember when you were young? We were so poor that we couldn't even feed ourselves. I had no choice but to throw you into the mass grave. Who knew? Xiao Nu got a high fever not long after I threw you away. She kept calling me sister. I had no choice but to bring you back. Your life was saved by Xiao Nu. Xiao Nu was the one who saved your life. She was so poor, even if the Tang family has wronged you, it is that bitch who wronged you. She was greedy for wealth and power, and she didn't let go of your parents. The old lady revealed more and more information, and everyone listened attentively. At the same time, Sun Lan, who was surrounded by reporters, had completely lost her sense of propriety. She could only defend Ning Xulua out of instinct, and kept waving her hands to deny. Don't ask me. Don't ask me anymore. No, I'm not. I'm not her mother. I don't know who she is. I don't know her. She's not my daughter. She's the eldest daughter of the Ning family. Ning Shi. Ning Shi is my daughter. Yes, Ning Shi is my daughter. If Sun Lan insisted that Ning Xulua was her daughter, it might have aroused suspicion. However, at this moment, Sun Lan's protective attitude towards Ning Xulua made all the reporters even more certain that she was Ning Xulua's biological mother. Ning Shi is your daughter? Why didn't she look in the mirror to see what she looked like? Could she have given birth to Ning Shi's face? Facing the swarm of reporters and questions, Ning Shi only said one sentence from beginning to end. I did live in the Tang family for the past 18 years. As for me and the Ning family, whether it is in the past, present, or future, I have nothing to do with them. She didn't know what was going on. Ning Xulua frantically tried to find someone to stop everything, but no security guards came. She didn't know what was going on. It wasn't until Ning Shi finished speaking that someone finally came to disperse the crowd. Shi Xiao and several bodyguards protected Ning Shi as they left. Chapter 1555. The storm had finally calmed down. However, for some people, it was just the calm before the storm. In the luxurious car, Chong Li was wiping Ning Xulua's hair with a towel while enduring the stench. As for Su Yin, he had just received a phone call and hurriedly returned home. Ning Xulua was covered in filth. Her hair was wet, her eyes were bloodshot, and her body was trembling. Her expression was hideous. Chong Li didn't dare to provoke her at this time, but her phone had been ringing off the hook. Even her boss had called to ask about it. So Chong Li could only bite the bullet and ask, Xulua, this matter is too big. I have to explain everything immediately, or the consequences will be unimaginable. But before I do that, I have to ask you one thing first. What the old lady and the woman said, is it true? Slap. Ning Xulua slapped Chong Li's face. Shut up, idiot. How could it be true? Chong Li covered her burning cheeks. Although Ning Xulua denied it, she had been by Ning Xulua's side for so many years. From Ning Shuiluo's flustered and exasperated reaction and the fear in her eyes, she knew that everything was probably true. Ning Shuiluo, who had always thought that she was nobler than others, who had always called Ning Shi a country bumpkin. She was the wild chicken. That ungrateful, despicable person was Ning Shuiluo herself. How did she put the blame on Ning Shi without batting an eyelid? How did she persuade the Ning family to sacrifice their own daughter to protect her? Just how deep was this woman's schemes? Chongli shuddered at the thought of this. Ning Shuiluo shouted, "Go! Send me a statement. Say that it's all fake. That damn old woman is fake. That bitch is fake. Ning Shi and those people are slandering me." Chongli looked embarrassed. Now that the Tang family has come out to say this, the reporters are like locusts following the clues of the Tang family. There are too many flaws. Sooner or later, the truth will be revealed. Not to mention you and that person's appearance. Are you done? Ning Shuiluo slapped him again. Chongli immediately fell silent. In just one night, the incident from last night had already spread like wildfire, and everyone in the world knew about it. Even though the Su family and the Ning family used their connections to try to suppress this matter, they still couldn't do anything about it. Almost all the headlines of the newspapers and magazines were about last night's incident. They were all pictures of Ning Shuiluo and Sun Lan together. The media found out that Ning Shi had lived in the Tang family for 18 years as the daughter of the Tang family. When she was 18 years old, she suddenly left home. The neighbors all thought she had gone out to work. It was useless to find out these things, but last night, Ning Shuiluo admitted that Ning Shi was the adopted daughter of the Ning family. Previously, Ning Yaohua had said in his statement that his adopted daughter was an orphan, which was why he adopted her. Why did Ning Yaohua lie to the public? Why did he adopt an 18-year-old girl who was not an orphan and change her surname to Ning? Why did Ning Shi's mother not look like Ning Shi, but looked exactly like Ning Shuiluo? Just as Chongli had said, there were too many flaws in the story. So no matter how much Ning Shuiluo denied it, it was just sophistry in the eyes of others. Overnight, Ning Shuiluo's image of a fair, rich, and beautiful, the daughter of a rich family, and the winner in life, collapsed. Chapter 1556. The cliché of carrying the wrong daughter was aimed at two popular actresses in the entertainment industry, Starlight in Golden Age, and Ning Shi, the new movie queen. The Su and Ning families couldn't suppress such a terrifying amount of attention from the public. In a short period of time, the media had interviewed almost all the people around Ning Shuiluo that could be dug up. Everyone wanted to make a big piece of news for the headlines. One of them caused quite a stir. A certain media outlet revealed an interview with Ning Yaohua's younger brother, Ning Yaobang. In the video, Ning Yaohua was drunk and was being questioned by a reporter. Reporter: "Mr. Ning, have you heard about the rumors about your niece?" Ning Yaohua: "Oh, of course I have." Reporter: "What's the truth? Mr. Ning, can you tell us?" Ning Yaohua: "Haha, the truth? The truth is that my stupid brother and his family didn't want their own daughter and treated that pheasant like a treasure." Reporter: "Then why did your brother do that?" Ever since Ning Shuiluo and Su Yin got married, Ning Yaohua's days in the company had been getting harder and harder. His daughter, Ning Tianxin, was nowhere to be found, so he was in a bad mood recently. He said with a gloomy face, "That little bitch. She has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. How could Ning Shi win against her?" She had the ability to trick Ning Yaohua into giving 15% of his shares to that bastard. The Ning family. Ning Yaobang: "Look at what you've done." Ning Yaohua had just finished watching the video on the computer when he called Ning Yaobang over. He was currently pounding the table in anger. After all, it was said by a village woman. Not everyone would believe it. But now, Ning Yaobang, his biological brother, dared to say such things in front of the reporters. Now, there was no way he could clear his name. Ning Yaobang looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water. He crossed his legs and said sarcastically, "If you have the guts, go and vent your anger on your baby daughter. Why are you angry at me? I didn't expose these scandals. I just said a few words of truth. The one who said that was your good daughter's grandmother. And the one who put on that face in front of the camera as if she's afraid that people don't know she's a pheasant is your good daughter's mother. Shut up. Get out of here. Ning Yaobang patted his butt and stood up. Yes, yes, I will. I'll wait and see what will happen to you after you hand the company over to this country bumpkin girl. Someone knocked on the door not long after Ning Yaobang left. Come in, Dad. Ning Shuo pushed the door open and said. Seeing Ning Shui, Ning Yaohua had a complicated look on his face. You're here. Ning Shuo did not sit down. Instead, she knelt in front of Ning Yaohua's desk. Shuo, what are you doing? Ning Yaobang immediately stood up. Dad, I've done you and Mom wrong. I've let the Ning family down. It's all my fault. I've dragged you into this. Ning Shuo's body trembled violently. I'm willing to take responsibility. What do you want to do? Ning Yaohua frowned. The reason why this matter has received so much attention and influence is because I'm from the entertainment industry. The only thing I can do now is to quit the entertainment industry. Ning Shueluo's face was pale and painful. She looked like she was making a huge sacrifice. However, her image had collapsed to the point of no return. Even if she continued to stay in the entertainment industry, she wouldn't be able to survive. Chapter 1557. I'll make an announcement that I'm quitting the entertainment industry permanently. That way, no one will pursue this matter anymore. Otherwise, as long as I'm still in the entertainment industry, this matter will be brought up again and again. At this moment, Zhuang Lingyu's voice came from behind. Shueluo, what nonsense are you talking about? Isn't acting your favorite thing to do? Is it your dream? Actually, this matter isn't as serious as you think. So what if everyone knows that you're not our biological daughter? You're still the Missy of the Ning family. As for those groundless rumors and the nonsense that your second uncle said, there's no evidence at all, so don't bother about it. After a long time, no one will remember it. Ning Shuo naturally knew that this matter seemed to be very serious, but compared to the death penalty for artists like drug abuse, cheating, and involvement in politics, her matter was at most a personal problem. It would affect her image, but it was not to the extent that she would be banned. The reason why she had entered the entertainment industry was because she knew that Ning she liked to act, so she wanted to get what she couldn't get. Of course, she could continue to stay in the entertainment industry, but from now on, she would have to bear the name of a dove occupying a magpie's nest. From then on, wherever she went in the entertainment industry, she would have to bow down to Ning Shi. How could she endure such humiliation? How could she watch Ning she strut around in front of her? So now, she might as well take a step back and directly quit the entertainment industry. Ning Shuo was still kneeling there, looking determined. Dad, Mom, I've already decided. As long as I can minimize the impact on the family, I'll do anything. Zhuang Lingyu bent over and hugged her daughter with a pained expression. Shueluo, you've suffered. Ning Yaohua sighed helplessly. Shueluo, you've really suffered this time. Zhuang Lingyu's face was full of anger. How could that old lady have the ability to come all the way from the countryside to such a place? It's obvious that someone is behind all this, and she purposely chose such an occasion to make such a big deal out of it. Ning Yaohua's face was ugly. This time, Ningxi has really gone too far. Does she think that by doing this, she can force us to acknowledge her? She must be dreaming. I only hate that I didn't give birth to Shueluo. Why did you let Shueluo suffer so much for nothing? Zhuang Lingyu said sternly. Seeing how Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua were protecting her, a hint of pride flashed in Ning Shuo's eyes. She said gratefully, Dad, Mom, I'm not wrong. Really. Actually, this is also good. This way, I can focus on helping my parents take care of the company. Recently, history is in a critical period, and there are a lot of things to do. Shueluo, it's good that you can think this way. Everything will pass. Mummy and Daddy will always stand by your side. Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua comforted Ning Shuo for a long time. After Ning Shuo walked out of the study, only Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua were left. Ning Yaohua was badly battered by this matter, and his complexion was not good. At this moment, He was staring blankly at a newspaper on the table. The newspaper used an entire page to publish Ning Xueluo and Sun Lan's photos. The two similar faces constantly pricked at his nerves, reminding him that the girl in front of him was not his own flesh and blood. No matter how good they weren't biological children after all. If only he could have a son. How great would that be? As far as he knew, his second son had not given up on having a son, and he was always fooling around with young girls. It was a pity that he could not afford to offend the Zhuang family. Therefore, even if he wanted a son, he could only have one with Zhuang Lingyu. Chapter 1558. Actually, it was not entirely impossible to have another child with Zhuang Lingyu. Zhuang Lingyu gave birth to her first child in a small village with poor conditions. Her uterus was accidentally infected during childbirth. Although it was cured later, she still lost a lot of qi and blood, so she could not get pregnant after giving birth to her first child. Because of this, Zhuang Lingyu paid so much attention to her only daughter, Ning Xueluo. Originally, this was a taboo for Zhuang Lingyu, and Ning Yaohua did not dare to ask her to have another child. But this time, when the Tang family, especially Sun Lan, who looked so similar to Xueluo, appeared again, Ning Yaohua felt that it was time to bring it up. Thinking of this, Ning Yaohua put on a considerate and attentive expression. He walked over to hold Zhuang Lingyu's shoulder and asked softly, "Lingyu, have you thought about what I told you before? Actually, surrogacy technology is very advanced now, and you can choose between a man and a woman. The most important thing is that you don't have to suffer 10 months of pregnancy." Zhuang Lingyu looked a little uncomfortable, but there was no sign of disgust. She frowned and said, "I'm already so old. Can I do it?" Hearing her tone, Ning Yaohua immediately put his arm around her shoulder and said, "Who said that? Even if you say that my wife is only 20 years old, people will believe it. You're already so old, yet you still talk nonsense." Zhuang Lingyu said. Although she was blaming him, she did not seem angry at all. Actually, looking at Xueluo's face that looked so similar to Sun Lan's, she more or less minded it. The thoughts that she had been trying hard to ignore and suppress also surfaced. Who wouldn't want to have a child who had their blood flowing in their veins? If she could have another child, she would definitely teach him more diligently and give him everything. That child would be more perfect than Xueluo. In recent years, there seemed to be more and more people using surrogacy. The madams around her also heard about it. Some time ago, Mrs. Lin gave birth to a son through surrogacy, and that Mrs. Lin was already 48 years old. Maybe she could really give it a try? Although they were old and might not be able to accompany this child for too long, at least there was a gentle and kind sister like Xueluo to take care of him. Xueluo often says that being alone is very lonely, and she really looks forward to having a younger brother or sister. If she really succeeds, she will definitely be very happy. Lingyu, if you agree, I'll cancel all my work and go overseas with you right away. Ning Yaohua was a little excited. I'll think about it. Zhuang Lingyu hesitantly asked, "Yaohua, about this matter, should we discuss it with Xueluo?" Ning Yaohua immediately said, "There's no need. After all, it's still uncertain. Why don't we tell Xueluo after we succeed and give her a surprise?" Zhuang Lingyu thought about it and finally agreed. After all, she really couldn't bring herself to say such a thing. Ning Yaohua's plan was perfect. When he had a son, the shares that were originally given to Xueluo would naturally be given to him, the only heir. Xueluo was so filial and obedient, so naturally, she would not have any objections. Furthermore, it was the right thing for a son to inherit his father's business. Even the Su family would not be able to say anything against it. Of course, he would not mistreat Xueluo. Furthermore, him allowing Xueluo to successfully marry into the Su family was already the greatest guarantee for her in this lifetime. Chapter 1559. At the Marriott Hotel. Ning Xueluo would hold a press conference here today. After the incident, Chongli issued a statement denying everything, but Ning Shuilua never showed her face. Knowing that she would hold a press conference today, not only the reporters swarmed there, but also the crowd of onlookers. Most of them were Ning Shi's fans, and many of them were Ning Shuilua's own fans. After the incident, Ning Shuilua's fans turned against her in droves. And Ning Shi's fans, under the organization of the fan club led by Zhuang Kumar, went around speaking for their idol. Although they were all extremely angry, they all remained rational and won the favor of a large number of passersby. A large number of Ning Shuilua's fans also switched sides to Ning Shi's side. Ning Shuilua, get out of the entertainment industry. Bitch, apologize to Brother Shi. Apologize. Apologize. Ning Shuilua, you shameless liar. Are you worthy of our love for so many years? Ning Shuilua wore sunglasses and a mask and entered the hotel under the protection of more than a dozen security guards. On the stage, Ning Shuilua sat in the middle, looking pale and haggard. Next to her were Chong Li and another senior manager of the company. Chong Li's face was the darkest. She had never expected that Ning Shuilua would quit the entertainment industry. Ning Shuilua's reputation was so bad, and so was her manager. Now Ning Shuilua could leave such a mess behind and just leave. She could still continue to be a rich missy when she went back. What about her? Her career as an agent was completely ruined. She said that Ning Shuilua had disguised herself so well that she didn't even know about it. How could anyone believe her? Chong Li had already regretted it. Looking at the statement in her hand, she felt even more desperate. Ning Shuilua lowered her head and choked with sobs. I believe everyone knows that a lot of things have happened recently. I know that no one will believe me if I say anything now, but a lot of things are not what they seem on the surface. Because of these things, I sincerely apologize for the hurt caused to my fans. To the fans who are still supporting and believing in me, I am really grateful. Acting is the biggest dream and hobby of my life. But in order to give everyone an explanation, I have decided that from today on, I will quit the entertainment industry forever. As soon as Ning Shuiluo finished speaking, the reporters at the scene burst into an uproar. Then, the sound of flashing lights rang out one after another. The reporters held their breaths and stared. They were waiting for a big reversal in the future. However, they did not expect Ning Shuilua to leave under the escort of her bodyguards after saying that. In a short period of time, the news of Ning Shuilua quitting the entertainment industry had spread. Everyone on the internet was talking about it. Damn, what does Ning Shuilua mean by that? It's as if there's a huge secret, as if everyone has wronged her. What secrets could there be? If there were, she would have told us already. No matter how many secrets there were, could they change the facts? Even at this point in time, this shameless villain was still playing tricks. Apologize. Where was her apology to Ning Shi? Not a single word. The main point is it enough to just leave the entertainment industry? She pretended to be a rich young lady for so many years and shamelessly took over Ning Shi's life. Chapter 1560. Not only Ning Shi's fans, but also the onlookers were feeling indignant for Ning Shi. Yes, what should we do? How could she shamelessly enjoy everything that should have belonged to Ning Shi? She even wants to rob her parents. That's shameless. After the indignation, Ning Shi's diehard fans said, "Didn't Brother Shi say it? She has nothing to do with the Ning family, whether in the past, present, or future. Elder Brother Shi doesn't need the identity of a rich princess, and he doesn't need rich parents. Our elder brother Shi is a queen. Yes, he doesn't need those blind parents. Brother Shi has us." As they spoke, the fans suddenly changed the direction of their discussion. Don't mention that disgusting bitch. I'll tell you a super exciting thing. Didn't you notice the last sentence of Brother Shi's acceptance speech when he won the Best Actress award? Of course I did. I can recite it. For my ultimate dream and the person I love the most. The person he loves the most? Does Brother Shi already have someone he loves? Is it a man or a woman? Well, I guess it's a girl. She must be a very cute girl. At Shengshi Entertainment. Because the incident that day had happened too suddenly, there were too many follow-up matters that needed to be resolved. After leaving the Golden Palm Awards, Ning Shi went to the company with Lin Jiji. They stayed at the company to rest and eat. She didn't stop working until Ning Shuo's press conference today. Brother Shi, Ning Shuo is so shameless. She didn't forget to slander you before she left. Ning Shi's eyes darkened. She knew that Ning Shuo's words were actually a warning to her. She might have been afraid of Ning Shuo in the past, but since she confessed to Lu Tingxiao, she was relieved. Ning Shi looked at her cell phone screen. There was a new message on the screen. The sender was Su Yan. Xiaoxi, can we meet? Besides, things were different now. Would Su Yan protect Ning Shuo and make false testimony for her like he did in the past? Ning Shuo must not be sure. Ning Shi knew that with Ning Shuo's personality, she wouldn't dare to risk her life. As for the fans gossiping about her acceptance speech, Ning Shi told Lin Jiji that she didn't think much about it at the time. She just meant the fans, not the special people. Lin Jiji said she didn't need to explain. Therefore, Ning Shi didn't pay much attention to it. In fact, from a selfish point of view, she didn't really want to explain. After the matter came to an end, everyone went home to rest. Ning Shi walked to the garage and was surprised to find that Shi Xiao was not waiting for her as usual. He opened the car door suspiciously. The next second, he jumped up and threw himself at the passenger seat. "Sweetheart." Lu Tingxiao leaned back and carefully caught the girl's body. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. "This is right?" Ning Shi immediately took out a golden trophy from her bosom and stuffed it into Lu Tingxiao's hand. She stared at him with sparkling eyes and blushed with excitement as she said, "Sweetheart, this is for you." Lu Tingxiao. It's a very special gift. But she didn't have to keep it, did she? Didn't she feel uncomfortable? Chapter 1561. The moment I received this trophy that day, I actually wanted to do this. I wanted to fly down and give it to the person I love the most. In the end, so many things happened, and I couldn't give it to you until today. Ning Shi's tone was pitiful. "Good girl." Lu Tingxiao rubbed the girl's head. "Thank you. I like it very much." Lu Tingxiao knew that. The girl had been looking at him in such a blatant way that others would notice it. Ning Shi immediately moved closer to him. She was about to spend more time with Lu Tingxiao when her cell phone rang. It was Tang Nuo. "Hello, Xiao Nuo. Did something happen?" Ning Shi asked worriedly. Tang Nuo said nothing. "That woman was so shameless as to send someone to tell Mom and Grandma that you asked them to do it. She wanted us to confuse right and wrong. You know my mother's temper. She can't take any of that woman's tricks. Grandma is fine, but when she heard that woman promised to give me a large sum of money and send me to study abroad, she started to waver." Ning Shi listened to Tang Nuo's words quietly. The people who were following the Tang family didn't mention it. Besides, Ning Shuo had retired from the entertainment industry, so it must have been a failure. "What happened then? How did you solve it?" Ning Shi asked. "How do you know I solved it?" Tang Nuo asked. "Who else but my brother could do it?" Ning Shi chuckled. Tang Nuo said proudly, "I didn't do anything. I just threw a rope over the beam and told them that if they agreed to that woman's terms, I would hang them here." Ning Shi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was simple and crude, but it was effective. Besides, she was very touched. "Thank you, Xiao Nuo." Not long after she hung up, her cell phone rang again. Ning Shi was driving, so she said to Lu Tingxiao casually, "Sweetheart, answer it for me." Lu Tingxiao glanced at the name Su Yan on the caller ID. 2 seconds later, he picked it up. Lu Tingxiao did not speak immediately, and the other end of the line was silent. Several seconds later, a man's voice came from the other end of the phone. Su Yan sounded like he had drunk a lot, and he said intermittently, "Cici, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know, the person I've wronged the most in my life is you. Is it possible?" The moment he finished speaking, the atmosphere in the carriage suddenly turned cold. Lu Tingxiao, she can't answer the phone right now. Suddenly hearing a man's voice on the other end of Ning Shi's phone, Su Yan sobered up and asked harshly, "Who are you? Why do you have Xiaoxi's phone?" Lu Tingxiao pursed his lips and said nothing, but his expression turned even colder. As soon as Ning Shi drove out of the garage, she vaguely heard a familiar man's voice from Lu Tingxiao's cell phone, asking who Lu Tingxiao was. So she asked, "Who's calling?" Before Lu Tingxiao could answer, Ningxi saw the name Su Yin from the corner of her eye. Ningxi's face darkened. As expected, it was this fellow. Ningxi tilted her head in Lu Tingxiao's direction and said into the phone, "He is my man. Do you have a problem with that?" Chapter 1562. Ningxi's words were enough to appease Lu Tingxiao. On the other end of the line, Su Yin was silent for a long time before he hung up. She looked at Lu Tingxiao, who had hung up. "Lu Tingxiao, what did that guy say on the phone?" Lu Tingxiao's reaction didn't seem right. Lu Tingxiao pursed his thin lips. "He asked if it was possible for him to be with you." She was speechless. She was speechless for a long time before she found her voice again. Her lips twitched as she muttered, "Is there something wrong with this guy's head?" Lu Tingxiao didn't say anything. His dark gaze landed on the girl, and his thin lips were tightly pursed. Su Yin had long sensed that there was something wrong with the way he looked at Ningxi, especially at the award ceremony as a man. He was well aware of the strong desire Su Yin had for Ningxi. His girl was becoming more and more outstanding and dazzling. "Sweetheart, ignore this guy. If you care about someone like him, you're lowering your status." Ningxi's eyes flashed coldly as she said this. Was it possible? Where did he get the courage to ask this question? At the Su residence. Ningxi had just returned from the press conference. Leaving the entertainment industry was just the beginning. There were more thorny issues ahead. As soon as she returned to the old residence, everyone was there. Su Hongguang, Zheng Minjun, Su Sun, and Zhao Shanshan were all there. However, Su Yin was the only one missing. Dad, Mom, Su Sun, Shanshan. Ningxi greeted them one by one. "Hey, look who it is. Our superstar is back," Zhao Shanshan said sarcastically. How could she let go of such a good opportunity to kick them when they were down? Zheng Minjun's expression was ugly. She glanced at Ningxi. "Why are you back so late?" When she didn't know that Ningxi was an adopted daughter, she didn't think much of it. However, ever since she found out that Ningxi was the daughter of a village woman, she felt as disgusted as if she had swallowed a fly when she saw her mother and grandmother in the news. Now, she was about to become the laughingstock of all the madams and madams. These few days, she didn't dare to go anywhere. She was afraid that the moment she went out, she would be looked at with strange eyes and said that there was something wrong with her brain. She didn't want a real phoenix and let her son marry a pheasant. If it wasn't for the fact that she still held 15% of the Ning family shares in her hands, she wouldn't have been able to tolerate it. Ningxi hid the darkness in her eyes and said in a low voice, "There are still some things to deal with in the company after the press conference." Before Ningxi could finish her explanation, Zheng Minjun interrupted. "What's more important than your husband?" Su Yin hadn't been to the company or home for 3 days. "You don't even care where he went. Is this how you behave as a wife?" "Mom, I'm sorry. I've been too busy these days. I have to deal with all kinds of procedures at Starlight and prepare to report to Ning's International. I'll go look for Su Yin now." Hearing that she was going to work at Ning's International Group, Zheng Minjun's face softened a little, but she still warned her, "You'd better not run around these days. You know how ugly your mother and grandmother's quarrel was this time. I don't even dare to attend private parties now. Don't go out and embarrass me." Ningxi secretly clenched her fists and maintained an obedient face. "Got it, Mom. I'll stay at home and wait for this matter to settle down." "All right, hurry up and find Su Yin." Zheng Minjun waved her hand impatiently. Chapter 1563. As soon as Ningxi left, Zhao Shanshan immediately rushed to Zheng Minjun's side to complain. "Mom, I say, you're too tolerant. Why did he have to speak to her in such a nice and friendly manner? Our Su family's reputation has been ruined by her. Don't you dare talk so much. Also, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. Stop. If I find out that you're talking nonsense outside, don't blame me for not warning you." Zheng Minjun said unhappily. Su Hongguang glanced at the two of them and said sternly, "Your mom is right. I don't care what you're thinking, but this concerns the Su family's reputation. Watch your mouths." Zhao Shanshan curled her lips and muttered, "Does she even have such a thing as reputation? Does she even need me to say anything?" Su Sun leaned against the sand, his gaze shifting as he said faintly, "Actually, the person we need to worry about the most right now should be Big Brother, right? After all, Big Brother is the biggest victim in this matter. To a man, the most important thing is his reputation. Which of those young masters in the capital didn't marry a lady from a prestigious family? Yet he was fooled into marrying a fake daughter. Where can Big Brother put his face?" Seeing his big brother, who was stronger and more outstanding than him, humiliated this time, Su Sun was incomparably happy. TSK, even the heavens were helping them. The two of them had just gotten married, and Ning Shua's matter was already known to everyone. Moreover, the evidence was conclusive, and even the Ning family couldn't cover it up. This time, they were in trouble. Although Su Sun's words weren't pleasant to hear, they immediately hit the point that Su Hongguang and Zheng Minjun were most concerned about. Especially Zheng Minjun. In her eyes, her son was the most outstanding. How could she tolerate such a stain on his reputation? After returning to the bedroom, Zheng Minjun thought about it and couldn't help but say to Su Hongguang, "Hongguang, no matter how I think about it, I still feel uncomfortable." "Then what do you want? Things have already come to this." Su Hongguang was naturally angry. Zheng Minjun asked tentatively, "Hongguang, what do you think about Ningxi? Actually, these days, I see that our Su Yin still has feelings for Ningxi." Su Hongguang immediately frowned and looked over. "Do you think it's not messy enough? After all, Su Yin is already married to Xue Luo and has an ambiguous relationship with Ningxi. What do you want others to think of Su Yin and our Su family?" Zheng Minjun immediately said angrily, "How can I not know what you're saying? Naturally, I will do it secretly. How can I let others know?" Su Hongguang did not say anything. Zheng Minjun said again, "Even if she is not on good terms with the Ning family, so what? You saw with your own eyes what happened at the wedding last time. The Zhuang family was obviously biased towards Ningxi. After all, Ningxi was the young mistress of the Zhuang family. And even if we let Su Yin divorce Ning Xiaoluo and marry Ningxi, I believe the Ning family will have nothing to say. After all, the Ning family deceived us first. No matter what you say, we are always right. When our Su Yin marries Ningxi and draws the Zhuang family to our side, the Ning family won't acknowledge Ningxi as their daughter." Hearing this, Su Hongguang was finally a little moved, but he still questioned, "This is all your wishful thinking. How do you know what Su Yin and Ningxi are thinking?" Zheng Minjun immediately said in a matter-of-fact tone, "Do you even need to ask? Have you forgotten how much Ningxi loved our Su Yin back then? Now she is going against Xue Luo in every way, mainly because Xue Luo stole Su Yin. Originally, I definitely did not like that girl, but now, after a few years of not seeing her, that girl has really grown up. She can be considered to be a good match for our Su Yin." Chapter 1564. Ning Shuo drove away from the Su mansion and immediately made a phone call. "What has Su Yin been doing these days?" "I think he went back to Spring Breeze Town in Sea City and has been drinking since he came back." The person on the other end of the phone answered. "Spring Breeze Town." Ning Shuo frowned slightly. "Where is he now?" "Well," the person sounded hesitant. "I'm asking you a question," Ning Shuo said impatiently. "Su Yin is now at a Peach Blossom Cove." "What did you say?" Ning Shuo's expression immediately changed. She naturally knew that Peach Blossom Cove was where Ningxi lived. "When did he go in?" Ning Shuo immediately asked, her nails digging into her palms. No. Su Yin didn't go in. He stood outside the whole night." "Got it. Keep watching." Ning Shuo hung up the phone. Her body was trembling slightly because of excessive anger. It took a long time before she finally calmed down. She stopped the car in front of the Su family's Yifeng Group building and found a stone nearby. She gritted her teeth and hit her forehead hard. Bright red blood slid down her forehead and into her eyes, making the woman's face look extremely hideous. Ningxi, one day, all of this, I will return it to you double. Ning Shulaw sat next to the car and picked up her phone to call Su Yin. After the phone rang, it was immediately hung up. Ning Shulaw was so angry that she almost smashed the phone, so she continued to call. On the fourth call, she finally got through. Before Su Yin could speak, Ning Shulaw immediately said in an extremely terrified tone. She weakly and painfully moaned while saying, "Brother Yin, save me, save me." Su Yan's nervous voice immediately came from the phone, but he deliberately lowered his voice, as if he was afraid that he would be discovered if he was too loud. "Shulaw, what's going on? Blood? I lost a lot of blood. Brother Yin, am I dying? What nonsense are you talking about? Where are you now? I was at the entrance of your company. I didn't mean to look for you. I know you're in a bad mood these days, so I didn't want to disturb you. But when I got home today, Mom said you haven't been home for a few days. She said I didn't fulfill my responsibilities as a wife and asked me to go find you. I'm sorry. What's going on? Are you hurt?" "I don't know. I was attacked as soon as I got out of the car. It might be my sister's fans. Stop talking, I'll be right there." After hanging up the phone, Ning Shulaw's weak and pitiful expression immediately turned gloomy. "Ningxi, do you think I don't know what you want? Do you think you can snatch Su Yan away like this? Dream on." Su Yan's mood had been very gloomy recently. He went to the house where he used to recuperate in Spring Breeze Town and looked at the bits and pieces of the time he spent with Ningxi. His mood became even more uncontrollable. He crazily wanted to see Ningxi, even if it was just to hear her voice. As expected, Ningxi did not reply to his message. With the help of the alcohol, he mustered up his courage and made a call. However, he did not expect to be picked up by a man, and Ningxi actually said that the man was her man. At that moment, his mood was extremely bad. It was as if a beast was ramming his chest, but he could not find a way out. At that moment, he no longer had the right to question her. He was already married. Chapter 1565. It wasn't until Ning Shua's call that he woke up from his thoughts and rushed to the company. When he arrived, he saw Ning Shulua leaning against the car under the dim light. There was a shocking pile of blood next to her. "Shulua, Brother Yin, you're here. I thought I wouldn't be able to wait for you. Don't be silly. I'll send you to the hospital." Su Yan's heart twitched when he saw the girl's weak and desperate expression. He immediately carried the girl into the car. After a while, Su Yan sent Ning Shua to the hospital to treat her wounds and returned home. Zheng Minjun and Su Hongguang were shocked when they saw Su Yin carrying Ning Shulua in. "What's going on?" Su Yin looked at Zheng Minjun, and his expression didn't look too good. "Mom, it's already so late. Why did you let Shulua go out to look for me? You haven't been seen for a few days. I was worried about you. She's your wife. Of course, she should be the one doing these things." Zheng Minjun was a little unhappy. "What happened to Shulua's injuries?" Su Hongguang asked. "She went to the company to look for me and was attacked by an unknown person." Su Hongguang said in a low voice, "That incident has caused such a huge commotion. It's indeed too chaotic outside recently. Arrange 2 bodyguards for her later." "Dad, Mom, I'm fine. It's just a small injury. I'm sorry for causing you trouble." Ning Shulua's face was pale. Seeing Ning Shulua like this, Zheng Minjun couldn't say anything no matter how angry she was. Otherwise, it would make Su Yin unhappy if she said too much. Su Yin was very protective of this girl. Thus, she could only endure it for now. Inside the house, Su Yin put Ning Shua on the bed and was about to leave when a pair of arms wrapped around his neck. "Brother Yin, give me a child? I want to have a child that belongs to us. I've already retired from the entertainment industry, so I can prepare for pregnancy in peace. With a child, I can have more time to take care of him and accompany him." Su Yan's eyes flashed. "Don't worry, we're still young." Ning Shula held back her tears as her fingers reached under the man's body. "But I want Don't mess around. You're still injured. It's fine. Just be careful. Under the woman's teasing, Su Yin finally couldn't hold back. Ah! Brother Yin, slow down, slow down. She did not know why Su Yin was particularly rough tonight, but Ning Shuo felt at ease. Sure enough, Su Yin loved her the most. He could not leave her body. Ning Shuo did not realize that Su Yin did not even look at her when he was doing it. He seemed to be immersed in some kind of fantasy. At the last moment, Su Yin hit her hard and fell on top of her. He lowered his head to her ear and murmured, "Xiaoxi." After that, Su Yin fell asleep. In his sleep, he hugged Ning Shuo tightly in his arms. The moment Su Yin said the name, Ning Shuo felt as if she was struck by lightning. Her face turned pale. Su Yin, how could this be? How could he be bewitched by such a woman? That filthy woman had relations with a messy man and even gave birth to a bastard. Back then, Su Yin left Ningxi largely because he minded this matter. Which man could accept his woman being slept with by another man and giving birth to that man's child? Back then, when she was with Su Yin, it was her first time, so it was impossible. She must have heard wrong. Brother Yin would never have any designs on Ningxi again. Chapter 1566. The farce at the Golden Palm Awards finally came to an end, and Ningxi's work was back on track. With the help of 2 Golden Palm Awards, Ningxi was like a tiger that had grown wings. Of course, at the same time, she was more demanding of herself. Lin Jiji was also more cautious when choosing her next movie and book. Lin Jiji thought for a long time and finally pushed a film to Ningxi. Ningxi, I suggest you audition for this one. Director Jiang Xingzhou's new film? Ningxi glanced at the script. Just seeing Jiang Xingzhou's name, almost everyone in the entertainment industry felt a chill down their spines. Director Jiang's state of mind during filming was too scary. Even Song Lin, who had gotten to where she was today, was scared when she mentioned Director Jiang. Lin Jiji said, "The female lead of this film is a blind mother. The age range in the film is from a teenager to an old woman. I've read the script. It's a very good script, and it's Director Jiang's film. It's almost guaranteed to win a domestic award. The point is that it can enter the top 4 international A-list film festivals. Of course, because of this, the casting is very strict. The competition will be very fierce this time." At this moment, Ningxi was flipping through the script. Just by looking at the beginning, she was already attracted. It is indeed a very good script. It is completely different from Under the Heavens and Dreamseeker. It doesn't have too many twists and turns in the plot. The entire script is just a simple narration of a mother's life. However, this kind of script is the real test of an actor's acting skills. Lin Jiji nodded. If it were someone else, I would definitely choose a more reliable script, such as Director Lin's. But I think you're more suitable for a mother. Ningxi's eyes flashed with the light of challenge. Let's choose this one. Anyway, let's go for the audition first. If it doesn't work out, we can choose something else. Okay, then it's decided. Go back and get ready. Okay. Ningxi had just left the company when her phone suddenly rang. Ningxi casually glanced at the caller ID and was scared out of her wits. Songlin? Her goddess Songlin? After the Golden Palm Awards, they had exchanged phone numbers backstage, but she hadn't dared to disturb her goddess. She hadn't expected her goddess to call her. Ningxi took several deep breaths before she finally calmed down and answered the phone. "Hello, Senior. Senior Song? It's me. Is it convenient to answer the phone now? I hope I didn't disturb you." The charming voice of the goddess came from the other end of the phone. "How could that be?" No. Senior Song, just tell me what you need." Ning, she said hurriedly. A low chuckle came from the other end of the phone, as if he was amused by the girl's cute reaction. "It's nothing serious. I just wanted to chat with you. What's your next film going to be?" "I just finished discussing with my agent. Now I'm going to audition for Director Zhang's mother." Ningxi answered seriously. "This one? It's just as I guessed. Actually, I'm not very sure. All the candidates for the interview are masters. Ning Shi scratched her head and said, it was no exaggeration to say that the candidates for the interview were elites of the whole entertainment circle. Ning Shi was good at acting, but there were also many talented artists in the entertainment circle. The closer she was to the top of the pyramid, the more talented people she would meet. Of course, this kind of challenge excited her. Song Lin said, coincidentally, I also have a role in this film, but it's just a cameo role. It's already been decided. Really? Ning Shi's eyes immediately lit up. Then if I succeed in the audition, I can act with you, my goddess. Song Lin sounded very happy. That's right. Senior Song, I'll do my best. Ning Shi was immediately full of energy. Ning Shi, are you free tonight? Song Lin suddenly asked in a very soft and bewitching tone. Even Ning Shi, a woman, couldn't help but be attracted to her. Chapter 1567. Ning Shi thought for a moment. Tonight? I'm fine. Song Lin said, if you have nothing to do, come to my place. We could talk about the script. Ning Shi was dumbfounded. She felt dizzy as if she had been hit by a huge pancake falling from the sky. Senior Song, are you going to give me special treatment? She had always been her goal and direction. She had looked up to the super best actress for so many years. The goddess that she had liked for so long had actually taken the initiative to contact her and even wanted to privately guide her and give her special treatment. Happiness came too suddenly, didn't it? Song Lin smiled. Kind of. Do you want to come? Of course. Ning Shi suppressed the words that almost escaped her mouth. She said reservedly, will it be too much trouble for you? You're so busy. It's okay. I'll send you my address. Come over tonight, Song Lin said. After receiving Song Lin's text message, Ning Shi almost gave up her phone. At night, Ning Shi went into her room to try on clothes as soon as she finished her meal at the Imperial Platinum Level Palace. La 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 la. It doesn't matter if I stay up late and chat with you until my liver explodes. It doesn't matter if I go shopping with you until I'm flat-footed. Thank you so much for letting me be reborn. You let me know about Love G, Happy G, listening to the cheerful singing coming from Ning Shi's room. Lu Jingli, who was sitting on the sofa and playing Gamoku with Xiao Bao, looked aggrieved. Brother, are you going out on a date again tonight? Lu Tingxiao, no. No. Lu Jingli's expression clearly showed that he didn't believe it. Then who is she dating? She looks like she's in love. Lu Tingxiao. Lu Jingli immediately realized that he had said something wrong. He covered his mouth and coughed lightly. Cough, cough, cough. Maybe she's just changing clothes for fun. It might not be a date. Ha! I've finally chosen one. Does it look good? Ning, she was wearing a green silk gown. People with poor skin wouldn't be able to stand such a scary color. But the effect on Ning, she was Tiskay. Little Baozi impatiently co-ed his annoying second uncle and then ran in front of Mama. Mama looks good. Ning Shi happily hugged the little bun and took a bite. My son has the best taste. Mommy, are you going on a date? Xiao Baozi looked up at me and asked. Lu Jingli immediately looked over nervously. Lu Tingxiao also glanced over slightly. Ning Shi sounded a little excited. Yes. Mom has a very important date tonight. Hurry up and give Mommy an encouraging kiss. Little Bun immediately gave him a cute and obedient kiss. Lu Tingxiao. Lu Jingli. Holy shit. They really went on a date. Lu Jingli looked as if he had been greatly shocked. Brother Shi, who did you invite? Who can make my brother Shi go out and change into 18 sets of clothes and 3 sets of makeup? Even my brother doesn't get this kind of treatment. Little Cece, how could you do this? How can my brother endure this? Ning Shi glared at Lu Jingli angrily. Then she walked up to Lu Tingxiao and tiptoed to kiss the corner of Lu Tingxiao's lips. What's wrong with me? I can even wear nothing in front of your brother. Sweetheart, don't listen to your brother's nonsense. The slightly cold expression on Lu Tingxiao's face suddenly turned into endless tenderness and love. He did not hesitate to betray his brother. Okay, Lu Jingli. Fuck, little Cece, you're such a submissive demon. Chapter 1568. Fuck. Little Cece, you're such a submissive demon. Shameless, too shameless. Dear brother, can you still be so principled? Little Bun, you too, your mom's gonna go on a date with someone else? Lu Jingli said with a pained expression. It was true that the eunuch was worried to death. Ningxi kicked Lu Jingli's leg. So, what if I'm going on a date with my goddess? Are you jealous of me? You single dog. What single dog? What single dog? I'm a lone wolf. A lone wolf. Lu Jingli yelled indignantly. Then he froze. Huh? Goddess? Women? Nonsense. Ningxi glanced at the time on her phone. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I'm going out, or I'll be late. My goddess is going to give me special treatment and talk to me about the script. I can't leave a bad first impression on my goddess. Bye, sweetheart, bye, baby. Ningxi said goodbye to Big Bun and Little Bun, then left the door happily. Lu Jingli, who was behind her, mumbled, Why are you making it so grand to meet a woman? Bun, who's your mom's goddess? Song Lin, 35 years old. She's the youngest Best Actress winner in China. She was nominated for Best Actress at the Golden Globe Awards. She's the actress closest to the Oscars in China's entertainment industry. Little Bun was Mama's #1 fan, so she naturally knew this kind of thing like the back of her hand. She immediately introduced Song Lin in detail. Ah, Song Lin. No wonder. Lu Jingli suddenly realized. Almost everyone around Ningxi knew that she was Song Lin's die-hard fan. If it was Song Lin, it was indeed understandable. However, everyone in the industry knew that Song Lin was arrogant and indifferent. She rarely interacted with others. They did not expect that she would treat Ningxi so differently after just meeting her once at the award ceremony. However, Song Lin had a very good reputation in the industry and was indeed capable. It would be good for little Cece to interact with her more. Lu Jingli did not think too much about it, because there were more difficult things to deal with at the moment. Oh, brother, dear brother, the family meeting will begin in 3 days. Now all kinds of people are coming to the capital. Almost every family has prepared a woman to shove at us. How are we going to live like this? Lu Jingli slumped on the sofa with an expression of despair. Why don't I make a public statement saying that I like men? No. Mom and Dad will beat me to death. Little Bowsy disdainfully looked at his second uncle, who was acting like an idiot again, and then went upstairs to sleep. Anyway, he was protecting his father, and he would never allow anyone to destroy his mommy's baby. Hearing Lu Jingli mention the family meeting, Lu Tingxiao sat on the sofa. It was unknown what he was thinking, but his eyes suddenly darkened. A storm was brewing on his face. Lu Jingli looked at his brother's expression, and a trace of worry surfaced in his eyes. He didn't know if he was overthinking, but he had a nagging feeling that something would happen during this family meeting. The address that Song Lin sent to Ningxi was Jinxiu Garden, which was an expensive place in the capital. Ningxi was actually quite surprised when she saw the address. As far as she knew, Mianxiu Garden should be Song Lin's private residence. Usually, a super big shot like Song Lin would be very mindful of the privacy of her personal space and would not invite others to her private residence easily. Chapter 1569. Ding dong, Ningxi stood at the door and pressed the doorbell nervously. Soon the door was opened from the inside. Song Lin was wearing plain home clothes. Her silky black hair was casually tied into a bun behind her head, and she stepped barefoot on the pure white blanket. Xiaoxi, I guess you would be here soon. Come in. Ningxi was stunned for a moment before she came to her senses. She bowed to greet her and then entered the house. Sorry to disturb you, senior. Everyone loved beauty. Ningxi's eyes could hardly move away from Song Lin. At this moment, Song Lin's casual home clothes were completely different from her glamorous appearance in front of the camera, which made Ningxi feel that she was the only special one among so many fans. She felt the secret joy of seeing the other side of her idol. Now, she really understood the feelings of those idol-chasing fans very well. Sit down. Song Lin greeted her and poured her a cup of tea. There was a low table in the middle of the living room. on which there was a white porcelain vase with a flower arrangement and a set of delicate tea sets. "Thank you, Senior." Ning, she took the tea and sat down on the soft cushion next to the low table. "What tea is this? It smells so good." "Cherry blossom tea. I made it myself." "Really?" Hearing that her goddess made it herself, Ning, she was excited again. Song Lin looked at the girl's heartfelt excitement and joy with a smile, and her mood was also affected. She hadn't been in such a good mood for a long time. She had been in the entertainment industry for so long, and she was very accomplished in the field of acting. When a person faced her, she could tell at a glance whether they really liked her, or if they were hypocritically flattering her, or if they had a deliberate purpose. It was rare for her to be muddle-headed. Sometimes she really hated herself for seeing everything so clearly. So, when she saw this girl for the first time at the Palme d'Or or award ceremony and saw the pure admiration in her eyes, as well as her love for acting, she was like a traveler who had been walking in the desert for a long time seeing a clear spring. Song Lin brought Ning some snacks she made and chatted casually. "Why did you want to act in the first place?" Hearing this, Ning, she was slightly stunned. Why did I want to act? She didn't even tell Liu Tingxiao this question, nor did she reveal it in front of the media. However, the person in front of her right now could be said to be the person who changed her life, so she couldn't hide it. Ning, she lowered her eyes and thought for a while. Then she replied, "Actually, there's no special reason. I just want others to see me and know my existence. But at that time, I didn't know what to do. Until one day, I saw you on TV. You were so dazzling on the podium, and everyone's eyes were on you. When she was a child, because of the experience of being abandoned more than once, Ningxi realized that she was too small and weak. Except for her young brother, who only cared about her. Even if she disappeared, or even died, no one would find out. She wanted to let people know of her existence. This was her survival instinct. Although Ning, she didn't explain in detail, Song Lin thought of the girl's background and roughly understood the source of the girl's idea. Ning, she said with a smile, "Of course, I can't avoid it either. I also want to earn more money and become more powerful." She wanted to stand side by side with that person. Ning, she looked at Song Lin, who was in front of her, and saw that her every move was honed and refined over the years. Whether it was in the entertainment industry or in the business circle, she had almost reached the peak. Suddenly, she felt that she was really too far behind. Chapter 1570. Ning, she chatted with Song Lin for a long time. She was a little reserved at first, but they hit it off in the end. Both of them shared many of the same viewpoints and ideas. They even analyzed the script and talked about it until late at night. There was an old saying that listening to a wise man was better than reading books for 10 years. She finally felt it today. She had been working on her own all this time, reading and researching. Now, she had a guide who helped her solve many problems and even some misunderstandings. "Thank you, Senior Song. Thank you so much for today." Ning, she bowed to express her gratitude. Song Lin smiled casually. "You're welcome. It's rare to meet someone I like. It's been a long time since I had such a good chat with someone. Call me Sister Lin from now on. You don't have to be so distant." Ning, she responded immediately. "Sister Lin, it's late. Did you come alone? Do you want to stay at my place for the night?" "It's all right. I've troubled you enough. I have a driver with me." Ning, she said immediately. "That's great. Go ahead. Drive safe." "Okay. I'll get going then. Good night, Sister Lin." "Good night." Song Lin didn't enter the house immediately after Ning, she left. Instead, she watched the energetic girl quietly. Downstairs, Xiao finally heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Ning, she come down. Although the lady boss was asking a woman out. However, based on his understanding of the lady boss, women weren't safe either. "Miss Shi, are you going back to the palace?" "Yes, let's go home." On the way, Ning, she hummed a song in a good mood. She jotted down the things that happened when she was chatting with Song Lin. While she was immersed in writing, the car that was driving smoothly suddenly screeched to a halt. "What's going on?" "Miss Shi, watch out." Shi Zhao's voice began to tremble in fear. Then, Ningxi saw a black thing that looked like a human squatting on the hood of her car like a spider. Holy shit! Ningxi rubbed her eyes hard, thinking that she had seen a ghost. What the hell is that? Shi Zhao took out a gun from the hidden compartment of the car. He pulled the door open and aimed at the unknown thing on the hood of the car. The object moved so fast that it didn't seem to be human as it attacked Shi Zhao. Ningxi also got out of the car. When she saw what had attacked Shi Zhao, her eyes widened, and she hurriedly stopped Shi Zhao. Shi Zhao, don't shoot. Puff! A silenced gunshot rang out. The thing's body moved at an extremely strange angle and dodged the incoming bullet. Then, it directly snatched the gun from Shi Zhao's hand. I hate it when people point guns at me. Hearing this familiar voice, 10,000 thoughts flashed through Ningxi's mind. I hate it when people squat on the hood of my car in the middle of the night. Great God, Han Xiao. Sorry. He didn't do it on purpose. But why are you here in the middle of the night? Ningxi's mouth twitched as she asked. Can't you change to a more ordinary entrance? Han Xiao, I'm hungry. Ningxi, Almighty, don't you know how scary it is for you to say such things to me in the middle of the night? Fortunately, even though she hadn't interacted much with him, she still had some understanding of his temperament. Oh. Then let me treat you to a meal. KFC is open 24 hours a day. Okay. The Almighty instantly shifted his murderous gaze away from Shi Zhao. Chapter 1571. Late at night, the two female KFBSB employees stared at Han Xiao. As more and more bones appeared in front of Han Xiao, their excitement at seeing a handsome guy turned into horror at seeing a ghost. Such a mysterious, handsome guy with a special temperament was actually a good-for-nothing. Even though Ningxi was mentally prepared for Han Xiao's appetite, her eyes behind the sunglasses were still full of amazement. Master, did you just happen to pass by? Ningxi asked tentatively. Han Xiao ate a drumstick in 2 bites and answered, No, I came to find you. Ningxi, rushing to the front of my car to find me in the middle of the night. I'm really flattered he... At the table diagonally across from them, Shi Zhao's muscles tightened as he stared at Ningxi and Han Xiao as if he was facing a formidable enemy. This was an instinctive fear of the strong. Until now, Shi Zhao still felt like he was about to collapse when he recalled the scene just now. Fuck, why are the people around the lady boss so scary? He felt like he was the one who needed protection the most. Lady boss, are you sure this guy is safe? Don't you need to get help now? I don't know, why are you looking for me? Ningxi asked politely as she ordered another family bucket. Han Xiao swept through another set of family bucket like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. Then he finally found an opening. He fished out an unknown object from his body and casually tossed it towards her. Ningxi hurriedly stretched out her hand to catch it. She saw that what Han Xiao had thrown over was a pendant in the shape of a whistle. It was engraved with an unknown meaning and hung on a red string. Ningxi fumbled with the whistle, but she couldn't figure out what it was. Almighty, what is this? Why did you give it to me? To save your life, Han Xiao said. Huh. Ningxi was confused and didn't understand what he meant. Han Xiao explained, blow it and I'll be there. Ha! Ahem. Ningxi almost choked on her own saliva. This? Master, there seems to be something wrong. How loud can a whistle be? Unless you're nearby, you won't be able to hear it and come over. I'll be there. Han Xiao still said the same thing and looked dissatisfied with Ningxi's question. Seeing the Almighty's unhappy face, Ningxi didn't dare to say more. She hurriedly nodded. Okay. Then I will accept it. Thank you, Guru. Thank you so much. Almighty, you're so good to me. He is definitely the most loyal person in the Jianghu. Only then did Han Zhao's expression soften a little. Then his eyes darkened as he said, The imperial capital has been very chaotic recently. Hearing this, Ningxi thought to herself, Someone has returned to China. How could the capital not be chaotic? She didn't expect that he would really bear it in mind after she had just helped him out casually and even jokingly said that he owed her his life. How honest. It's just that his brain doesn't seem to be working well. It felt like he was still thinking like a primitive man. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she looked at the whistle in her hand, but she felt very grateful for the other party's concern. Thank you for your reminder. I will be careful, She said. Yes, let's go. After Han Xiao had his fill, he turned around and left without any hesitation. His speed was so fast that before anyone could react, he had already disappeared. Sure Xiao, who was about to call for reinforcements, was dumbfounded. Gone? He actually left just like that. Chapter 1572. Dragon Qian Mountain Cemetery. In the evening, it was drizzling from the gray sky. It was slightly cold when it fell on one's skin. A black Hummer quietly stopped at the foot of the mountain. The driver quickly got out of the car and opened the door. He raised a large black umbrella over his head, and the shadow blocked the rain. The door opened, and a man in a black suit stepped out of the car. The man's silver hair swayed gently in the breeze. He held a large bouquet of white roses with dewdrops in his arms, and looked in the direction of the cemetery not far away. With the sound of another car door opening, a middle-aged man in a black tang suit got out of the car. Xiao, he ordered the others to wait where they were. He didn't bring any attendants or umbrellas with him. He followed Yun Shun to the cemetery. In the rain, the two of them walked to one of the tombstones without saying a word. The moment he saw the tombstone, Xiao Yi's cold expression became even colder. He clenched his fists tightly by his side. Yun Shun didn't say anything. He bent down and placed the white roses in front of the tombstone. There was a picture of a young woman on the tombstone. The woman was beautiful, but she looked a little sad. Xiao Yi stared at the picture on the tombstone, and there was a hint of madness in his eyes. After so many years, I'm finally back. Don't worry. I'll help you get back everything that belongs to you. Yunshin turned around and lit a cigarette. The smoke blurred his indifferent face and the sneer at the corner of his mouth. At the same time, at the Platinum Palace, the audition was in a few days. She was reading the script in the dark when she suddenly received a call saying that there was a package for her. She went downstairs to sign for the package. With Lu Tingxiao's help, she carried the heavy box in. What is it? She opened the big box suspiciously. She had bought some things online recently, but she didn't remember buying such a big thing. She opened the box skillfully, and there was a black wooden box inside. Wait. She was about to open the lid of the wooden box when Lu Tingxiao held her shoulders and pulled her behind him. Then he opened the lid himself. The moment the lid was opened, She cried out and covered her eyes with her palms. Fuck! This young master's dog eyes. Gold, it was a chest full of gold. It took she a long time to recover from the shock. Then she carefully picked one up and took a bite. Damn, really? It was actually true. What kind of situation is this? Which lunatic sent me a chest of gold? Lu Tingxiao stared at the gold and thought of something. His eyes suddenly turned cold. From the corner of his eyes, he saw a golden card on top of the chest of gold. Lu Tingxiao reached out to pick it up. When she saw Lu Tingxiao take the card, she curiously tiptoed over to take a look. Then she saw someone's familiar handwriting. Darling, what's so good about the Golden Palm Award? Don't you think these are cuter? She's heart almost collapsed. All right, she should have thought of that guy when she thought he was crazy. My illness is acting up again. She held her forehead in her hand, feeling a headache. She slammed the lid shut to block the box of golden light. I'll find someone to send it back. Chapter 1573. What the fuck? Is there something wrong with this guy? What's wrong with a normal person's brain? What's wrong with the Golden Palm Award? Did the Golden Palm Award offend him? He used to throw diamonds at people, but now he's finally not throwing diamonds, but gold. What sin did I commit in my past life to meet such a person? She was in the middle of a torrent of complaints when her lips were suddenly covered by the man next to her. His slightly cold lips fell on the girl's lips as if he was punishing her, suddenly being bitten. She let out a low cry, her face full of innocence. Ugh! The man held the girl tighter, not allowing her to escape. After a long while, he finally let her go and stared at her darkly. Don't mention that person in such an intimate tone. Ugh. The corner of Ning Shi's mouth twitched. She was a little speechless. Sweetheart, why do I feel that your brain circuit is a little crooked? Why would she mention that psychopath with an intimate tone? Sweetheart, how on earth did you understand? Why did she feel that there was something wrong with Lu Tingxiao today? Forget it, forget it. Anyway, her sweetheart was right, and wrong was also right. Ning Shi hurriedly comforted him. Yes, sweetheart, you're right. I know I was wrong. Don't be angry. Think of it this way. If I win the Golden Palm Award, it's like we've got half a marriage certificate. Hearing that, Lu Tingxiao's expression softened a little. He touched the girl's lips with his fingertips and leaned over to continue kissing her gently. Ning Shi obediently let the man kiss her, and then quietly kicked the box away with her foot. When the man's emotions had almost calmed down, Ning Shi took the opportunity to take Lu Tingxiao to the sofa and change the topic. Lu Tingxiao, tomorrow is the family meeting of your Lu group, right? I've already prepared the dresses for you. Look, this is yours, and this is Little Bun's. Yours isn't too bad, but Little Bun's is too old-fashioned and doesn't match his age, so I added some embellishments on the pockets. Isn't this little bunny especially cute? Lu Tingxiao held the girl in his arms and listened to her nagging. His eyes fell on the clothes Ning Shi prepared for her. Want you go with me? Ning Shi scratched her head. Even if I get the Golden Palm Award, I'm still short of one. If only I could be as powerful as Senior Song. She's the goddess of the nation and has a high prestige and influence among the people. She also bought 5% of the shares of Lu's group with her own financial resources. I remember that the shares of Lu's group rose to the upper limit within 3 days after she bought the shares. One had to know that even 1% of the Lu group shares was an astronomical figure, let alone 5%. Owning 5% of the shares would already be considered a major shareholder and would have a high status in the company. Song Lin's ex-husband was the CEO of the Mork family in America. Her current boyfriend was the boss of Hollywood's SC company. Her best friend was the princess of King Y. In short, she was surrounded by top-notch connections. She was like a legend. Even the traditional super-rich families in China, who always had a problem with the people in the entertainment industry, had to give Song Lin some face. Seeing the girl's depressed look, Lu Tingxiao suddenly felt a little regretful. He kissed the girl's forehead lovingly and comforted her softly. It's good to have a goal, but don't be too hasty. After all, Song Lin entered the industry 10 years earlier than you. It's already very good that you have achieved so far. You will become a unique legend. A unique legend. Hearing the Devil King's prophetic words, Ning Shi's depression was swept away. Although you can't attend the meeting with me in public, you can accompany me in another way. Lu Tingxiao said. What way? Ning Shi immediately asked. Lu Tingxiao thought for a moment. Do you have lipstick? Chapter 1574. Lipstick. Ning Shi paused. Yes, but what do you need lipstick for? Lu Tingxiao said. To borrow it. Ning Shi said. Huh? To borrow? Why did Lu Tingxiao borrow lipstick? He couldn't be using it for himself, could he? Ning Shi was confused. She went to her bag and found a lipstick she usually used. Lu Tingxiao took off the lipstick cap, gently pinched the girl's chin with his slender fingers, and carefully applied the lipstick for her. Ning Shi blinked. She still didn't understand what Lu Tingxiao wanted to do. Until Lu Tingxiao finished applying lipstick on her lips, picked up the white shirt on the sofa, and handed it to her. This time, Ning Shi finally realized what Lu Tingxiao wanted to do. Her little heart suddenly thumped fast, and her heart was beating so fast that she almost fainted. Ning Shi coughed. Sweetheart, are you sure? Lu Tingxiao said yes. Ning Shi looked at the clean white collar of the shirt, hesitated for a moment, and finally gently pressed a lip print on the place near the collar. Looking at the red lip mark on the shirt, Ning Shi blushed even more. She didn't expect that Lu Tingxiao would let her accompany him in this way. At the same time, he was using this way to keep away unnecessary women. Whoa! She was going to be flirted to death by her sweetheart. How could he do this? The devil's flirting skills had evolved to the extreme. Is this okay? Ningxi asked. Very good. Lu Tingxiao folded the shirt again, looking at the man in front of her and feeling his endless indulgence and love for her. Ningxi's heart was full of throbbing. She leaned over slightly. Boss, do you want it anywhere else? The man's eyes suddenly darkened. He held the girl's head and swallowed the redness on the girl's lips. The next day, the Lu family's family meeting was held in a garden of the Lu family. All the important direct descendants and collateral members of the Lu clan, as well as important shareholders, were gathered here. The musical fountain in front of the gate of the garden was all turned on, and a small band was playing in the middle of the banquet hall. Under the huge and luxurious crystal lights, it was a scene of extreme extravagance that belonged to the top upper class. Those present were all members of the Lu clan or guests who were inextricably linked to the Lu clan. Everyone used this annual gathering to chat and exchange information. The atmosphere was very lively. The hall was filled with cheers and laughter, and everyone had a smile on their faces. Under Lu Tingxiao's leadership over the past few years, the Lu group had almost reached the pinnacle. Naturally, they had benefited as well. In the entire banquet hall, there was probably only one person who was in a bad mood. And that person was also the most popular little koi fish, who was currently being chased by countless people to strike up a conversation. Second young master, this is the daughter of my uncle-in-law's second aunt. Her name is Ying. She's 24 years old and graduated from Princeton University. She's in the same major as you, so you two must have a common topic. Jingli, this is second aunt's niece, Yin Yin. She's 18 years old this year and is still in high school. The little girl really admires you. Do you two have time to chat? Second young master, what do you think of this girl on my phone? Although she's 3 years older than you, as the saying goes, a woman 3 years older can hug a golden brick. Second young master. Surrounded by 7 aunts and 8 aunts, Lu Jingli kept introducing them to each other. He called his father, but there was no response. He looked like he had been ravaged. Ow, brother. Why haven't you come yet? Help. Chapter 1575. Lu Jingli barely managed to squeeze his way out of the crowd. Of course, he loved girls and beauties, but he couldn't accept any of them because they were all trying to force him into marriage. He could date, but he didn't want to enter the grave of marriage so early. The only one who could make him willingly enter the grave was his fairy sister. Dad, Mom, you're too much. Am I your biological son? I even begged for help just now. How dare you ignore me? Lu Jingli stomped over to Yin Rui and Lu Chongshan, fuming. Yin Rui tidied up her son's messy hair and glared at him. You're spouting nonsense again. What do you mean by saving or not saving? You're already so old, it's time for you to consider marriage. There are so many outstanding girls here today, but none of them caught your eye? I've indulged you for so many years, it's enough. Take this opportunity to find a marriage partner for me by the end of the year. Lu Chongshan ordered unhappily. Lu Jingli grumbled unhappily. You only know how to bully me. Say the same thing to my brother if you dare. Lu Chongshan glared at his son. Your brother is the same. Yin Rui looked at the young girls who had turned up tonight with a hopeful look on her face. The girls who turned up tonight are all pretty good. Perhaps Ting Xiao will like one of them. Lu Jingli glanced at them casually. Mom, don't lie to me. None of them are prettier than my sister-in-law. What sister-in-law? Don't call me that. Lu Chongshan warned him unhappily. He knew that the woman wouldn't be attending tonight, so he decided to hide the fact that Lu Tingxiao already had a girlfriend. Although Ting Xiao had announced it before, as long as the woman didn't appear tonight, anything was possible. Lu Jingli naturally knew what his father was up to. He couldn't help but pour cold water on him. Dad, you're too naive. Do you think that my brother will be at your mercy just because my sister-in-law can't accompany him? My brother isn't as obedient as I am, so you can bully him. You child, how can you say that? Can't you think of your brother better? Yin Rui shook her head helplessly, then looked at the clock on the wall. Oh right, it's already so late. Why isn't your brother here yet? Just as Yen Rui was about to make a phone call to ask, there was a sudden burst of excited exclamations. Starting from the entrance, the crowd automatically parted to make a path. Two figures, one big and one small, stood in the light and slowly walked towards the banquet hall. The little boy next to the man who was wearing the same black suit as the man was particularly eye-catching. The little boy was dressed in deep black, and his face had the same cold and distant expression as Lu Tingxiao's. He was simply a small replica of Lu Tingxiao, and he looked like he was 1,000 miles away from everyone. Although the little fellow's appearance was too outstanding, and he had perfectly inherited the genes of the Lu family, he looked a little too gloomy at such a young age. Just as someone was thinking this, the little guy came closer. When they got closer, they saw that on the chest pocket of the little fellow's gown, there was actually a cute little rabbit decoration. It immediately added a bit of liveliness to the child, causing the hearts of the surrounding adults to almost melt from the cuteness. Lu Tingxiao, on the other hand, had an intimidating aura as usual, and his face was as handsome as a god. The young girls who were present today were originally feeling uneasy because of the rumors about Lu Tingxiao's scary, cold, and hard to get along with. Now that they saw Lu Tingxiao in person, they were so excited that they almost pounced on him. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.